Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 58 of our Delboy and me chatting away as we do every week. And hopefully, hopefully you're having a good time watching us do that. And as I say, I always say this, um, you're as much as important as anything. Um, your contributions and everything that you put in, just being here is fantastic. Anyhow, I've gone on there too much. So I'll just ask my normal question. Delboy, what have you been watching this week?
None of your bloody business. I told you every week. What you keep asking me that bloody question for? It's even my mum doesn't ask me what I bloody watch. You say 58, that's nearly my age. You still ask me the same damn question every bloody start. No, not starting with a rant.
It's all right. I'm sure somebody's expecting one.
It was only to make you laugh. To be quite honest, I'd like to say I'm watching more, but on Bank Holiday Monday, I did happen to find time to watch a film that's very long, which I really, really loved, and that's The Alamo.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Now, I should expect The Alamo to be quite gruesome, right? We all know what The Alamo is. A band of small people protecting a fort while everybody's trying to bloody kill them all, and they've got hardly any resources. But I tell you what, that last 30 minutes when you see John Wayne die and you see all the others die with knives in them and all that sort of stuff, I couldn't believe John Wayne. He got stabbed through the heart. He turned himself into a room where there was a lot of gunpowder, put a piece of flame to the gunpowder and blew the bloody room up. I mean, that's a way to go, isn't it? Well, Christ, if you really want to make sure that nobody finds your arms, legs, and brain, then there you are. You've just found the right way of doing it. Christ. So The Alamo was great. It's a long film, worth watching. And then I thought, well, I've watched a film today. I better go and out my mum, which I did. I did out my mum.
Yeah.
But straight afterwards, it was The Magnificent Seven Ride Again. Thought, bastard.
Oh,
right. I've seen The Magnificent Seven. Haven't seen The Magnificent Seven Ride Again in years. Yeah. And it's the one that people don't really talk about because they always talk about The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
So I recorded that and then watched it a bit later on because I just needed to spend an hour or two with my mum to get her to bed. So that was good. That was an interesting watch. You can understand why they don't talk about it too much. It's nowhere near The Magnificent Seven.
No,
but it's still good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's great. Let's have a little look. I've got a few things that have arrived, but I haven't watched them all yet. Just bear with me a moment. Right, let's turn that stupid thing off. There we go. Look, so you can see it's still light. This is really weird. I don't know why I ordered this. Well, I do, because it's a steelbook, but I've got it already. It's the Steelbook of Starman, which I really love Starman.
Yeah, it's good film.
When people talk about John Carpenter films, they still talk about Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
Starman, it's really weird because Starman's got an absolutely lovely musical score. Absolutely. I mean, you'll be humming it to death once you're once you've been watching it. It had a follow-up TV show, which lasted quite a few episodes. Yeah. Only one season, but quite a few. And the reason I talk about this is because I bought it as part of the Columbia Volume 4 set, which is a huge, big sort of like tomb of films. You know, the Columbia 100 years. They do them in Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4. There's about 6, 7 4K films in there. Starman was in there. And the reason I bought it was because Starman was in it, but it also had the TV series in Blu-ray. And that was the reason why I wanted it, right? Yeah. And then I bought Starman on Steelbook, and you're going, why? You ain't got the bloody TV series with this. What the bloody hell you bought this for? So it just goes to show you my brain's rattled, really. I mean, it's bloody stupid, really.
Yeah.
This came quite late. Terrifier, the bloody duo.
Oh, I don't like those. I
No,
think they're overrated.
remember we talked about it, and I gave you a joke saying, "Bloody hell! Look, he came from underneath this taxi, stabbed her on the leg. Her bloody blood came out like she had a pressure bloody washer coming out of her leg, and all of that sort of stuff." I think this was undersubscribed or oversubscribed or something. It's come out quite late. I think this has been out a while, and it's taken a long time for them to get it to me. So, but I forgot all about it, forgot to cancel it. And there you are. One that I don't know too much about, and I ordered, and I'm quite looking forward to knowing what it's about, really. And that's this Mickey 17.
Oh yeah,
I don't know too much about it. I've heard people talk about it, but don't really know.
Yeah.
There's the back of it.
I won't say I've seen it. I won't say out about it because I don't want to.
I mean, anyway. it came in that all the packaging like it always does. It's
it's nicely packaged.
And the rest has really been a lot of TV stuff, really. I watched this though, The Feathered Serpent.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which is a TV series from 1977 with Patrick Troughton as the evil. What's his name? Nazca. He's called Nazca. It's Egyptian sort of like philosophy type thing. It was during the 1970s children's stuff, like Into the Labyrinth and the Children of the Stones and all of that sort of stuff. It's during that sort of period. And I really liked it. And on top of that, Patrick Troughton did something in the 1970s called the Wives of Henry VIII. So I've ordered that, and that arrives tomorrow, believe it or not. So I'm really looking forward to that because it's Patrick Troughton, and I haven't got a lot of Patrick Troughton other than Doctor Who. Yeah. And again, I haven't been watching the new Doctor Who. I won't go into whether I think it's good, bad. Everybody knows my position on it. But apparently a big storyline is starting, and somebody has told me that the big villain that's going to be showing up next week, which ended last Saturday's episode, is Omega is back. Oh, great!
Oh no.
Are they really so desperate that they're bringing back a character that you haven't seen since Peter Davison and the Arc of Infinity? Yeah. Haven't we heard enough about he was the father of time and all of this sort of stuff, and he couldn't get back into this realm because he's antibody and all of that sort of stuff.
He seems to be bringing everybody back. Russell, and what it is, he's making them all awful new versions. They're all new versions of well-loved villains and characters, and they're awful what he's done to them. Going right back to when he did the Celestial Toymaker. Oh, absolutely. For me, it was dreadful. And it's just continued. But I haven't really been... I don't watch it.
So just to let you know, apparently it's a real jump up in storytelling. It's actually quite good on Saturday. I'm still not bothered. I know that the last two episodes are always supposed to be the best. We know that from all of our Doctor Who days when we were watching it with David Tennant and all of the rest of it. Last time it was Sutek, and I wasn't that impressed with Sutek.
It was
so
awful.
Why am I going to be impressed by another Time Lord that we've seen?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think I'd like to remember Omega from the John Pertwee era and the Peter Davison era of this era. It makes more sense as well, the storyline from there. And when it comes to what I've been listening soundtrack wise, ever since you asked me the question, thank you very much, by the way, for people that do support the blog. I always put a little bit about soundtracks. You asked me about train films, and I looked at my soundtrack lists looking for stuff to listen to. I know I've got some music with trains. And of course, the Great Train Robbery turned up with Sean Connery. And of course, it's done by one of my favorite composers, which I won't mention the name of. And basically, I've been listening to that most of the week, and it's a really good score. I haven't listened to that for a long time. I'm contemplating listening to the music to The Swarm, but done by the same composer. Haven't listened to that for quite some time. So yeah, that's pretty much been my week, other than, you know, stuff that I'll fill in with my blog with my mum and all of that sort of stuff. I hope everybody had a great bank holiday. I hope people have been really enjoying your channel, Ian, with your you know, crime thrillers and comedy shorts. Doctor Who, I think you did a Resurrection of the Daleks the last couple of days. A great story.
Yeah, Peter Davison.
I would just add, when it comes to Resurrection of the Daleks, that when that came out, and it wasn't out the blue, I knew it was something like this was happening. You're quite rightly, between Genesis of the Daleks and that story, there's a lot of crap. But before Genesis of the Daleks, there was a lot more crap. Remember, there were 10 episode long stories. That involved the Daleks, which were bloody awful.
Well, they overused them in that era, in Hartnell era. They didn't know what to do.
Hartnell, they overused them. Troughton, not so much. I think they overused the Cyberman in the Troughton era. They had 3 stories, did they? I think, and he was only there for 3 years, so that was a bit overkill. If you ask me. But
actually, to be honest, I like the John Pertwee Dalek stories. I think.
Oh well, you've got the Planet of the Daleks, haven't you? Which I think one episode is in black and white. That's where they had Daleks which have got that can be invisible, like the Predator.
That's right. There's some really good stuff. Pertwee's great, and the time travel Dalek story I like. What is it? Day of the Daleks or something like that?
Yeah, that's the one where it is. That's the one with the Ogrons or whatever it is. Those sort
it's where they're coming back from the future to attack this peace conference.
Yeah, but they're using a race of sort of like guerrillas.
That's right. I love that story. Even though
I think they're called Ogrons or something.
Yeah,
like
that's right. That's right. It is. Yeah, I think the problem, as they said at the time, was the budget, because they'd say, "Oh, look at all those Daleks coming across that field," and you'd see about 3, or not even that.
Yeah.
So they upped that, didn't they? In the special effects, they put some. Because they reissued some of these stories, and
well, it was all set around that big house, wasn't it? I mean,
it's a great story. I love the whole story. You know, it's almost like before the Terminator idea of somebody coming back from the future to change it. You know, it's brilliant, absolutely fantastic. John Pertwee, I love him. Yeah.
I mean, other than that, I've watched bits and bobs of TV, as you know. ITV and all of those channels love to try and get as many viewers as possible while films are going on in the cinema. So, of course, with the new Mission Impossible film, they've shown the last Mission Impossible film on the Saturday to make people go to the cinema, I suppose, really. So you watch the first part of Dead Reckoning, you know, part 1, which was about 3 years ago, and then you go to the cinema to watch the second part. Which has only just started, you know. They all do it to effect. And I did watch a lot of that Mission Impossible film. I agree with Muckman. He turned around and said he much preferred the newer one, even though a lot of people are saying it's boring.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the second one. I'm looking forward to going to see it. But it wasn't. I agree with what he said. He turned around and said Tom Cruise continues to defy time in regards to his stunt work. I mean, my God, how old's the man? Jesus, he's jumping out of planes and jumping off of cliffs with motorbikes and all that sort of stuff. You know, I mean, the man's are sort of like, what are you doing? Sort of thing. It's a fun romp. It's quite complicated. This new one is all about an entity. From what I could get of it, it was some sort of like entity that gets into everything, and a key that they're all trying to get hold of. It's interesting. It's nice to sort of like go back and look at those, because I watched it the first time when I got it on Steelbook, and I haven't watched it since until I watched it on TV. And when I was watching it on TV, I think it more sank in, probably because of the adverts in between you know, for every 20 minutes there's an advert, you know, because it's on ITV or whatever it is. I think it was getting into my brain a little bit easier because I was digesting what I'd just seen. Maybe that, but that's probably just me being thick and getting older, and my brain's slower these days.
Yeah.
But I'm more interested knowing what my friend Ian has got from Tony this week to plug his channel, and out what you've been bloody listening to as well, that you'll keep turning around and saying, I've been listening to proper music, not that playground music that I play. So I'll be very interested to know what's going on.
Oh dear, I wish I could live up to that this week, but I can't.
And do remember, by the way, boys and girls, I do apologize, but in the first hour you might see the camera go off and I'm just going to check on my mum and all of that sort of stuff.
No problem. I've not really personally had a very good week in my own health. I've been feeling really tortured with my leg. It's been a real problem. But, you know, I've been having a lot of painkillers and, you know, what else can you do? So I haven't watched as much as I'd like this week. But I have watched some good things. Sometimes when I'm like this, I get into a period where I'll just go on YouTube and just lazily just sit and binge watch something. And I always end up, I don't know why, but I always end up watching the IT Crowd. I just sit there and watch it. I love the IT Crowd. It's just it's one of those series that, you know, I've seen the episodes loads of time, but I still find them funny. It's the characters. The characters are so good, and it's such a brilliant story. Yeah, I just love it. So that is my laziness. That's, you know, because I wasn't feeling that well. But things that I have watched, let's see, is your Tony York moment, as you call it, which is an interesting actor that you. Now this film here, Kings of the Sun. Now this was a film when Yul Brynner was hot after Magnificent Seven. They did a series of films, and this wasn't a hit. It was actually a bit of a flop. They were hoping that he would really, you know, continue from the Magnificent Seven, but it didn't happen for him. But I think I can see a lot of problems. The ideas are really good, but the problem it's what it is. This story on paper looks really good. It's about the Mayans. The Mayans, they were amazing civilization that was so
weren't they the tribe that basically gave the mathematicians a start by inventing the number zero.
Yeah, they were involved, and the calendar.
Yeah,
our calendar. It comes from the Mayans. There
was a film. I'll tell you why I know this. The film I watched was called Stand and Deliver, right?
Yeah,
and it was about a teacher that taught Hispanics.
Right. Yeah.
Calculus.
Yeah.
Right. It starred the bloke who was in Battlestar Galactica. You know, the new Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
The one who was in Miami Vice. The captain or whatever it was. Forgotten his name now. Edward James Olmos.
Yeah, I know you meant. Yeah, Edward.
Yeah, Edward James Olmos or something like that. I can't remember anyway. Yeah. Right. It's called Stand and Deliver. I've never seen it on Blu-ray. It probably is out there. It's a great film. But yeah, he used to work for he wanted to work for NASA, but he was working as a school teacher, and he continued to stay teaching school because he wanted to give underprivileged people that were of a mixed race the ability to be able to do the ability to be able to do maths and go into higher things rather than be burger flippers or something like that at McDonald's. And it was a great film, absolutely fantastic film. And that's where he talked about the concept of the number zero. He said it was your ancestors, the Mayans, that came up with that concept. So, and all of that stuff about abacuses and calendars all came from
the calendar.
You should be bloody proud of your heritage.
But you see, that's what I like about this. Makes you think that basically you're thinking, well, these must have been really civilized people, what they were doing, but they built these like big temple structures, and their society was dominated by their religion, and their religion meant that you had to do a sacrifice. So you had this sort of people who were civilized, but their religion, every time you got these religious figures saying, oh, you've got to thank the gods that we've done this, some unfortunate person has to be sacrificed. And this film is interesting because it shows you, I think, how ridiculous all this was, about the way that they see the world, that the gods are controlling our lives. And when things are good, you praise the gods, and then when things are not going well, like the crops say are failing, it's because we've not been praising the gods enough and worshipping them enough, so we have to do another sacrifice. And it becomes ridiculous, all these sacrifices. And I thought this film brilliantly showed that, how ridiculous some of religions can be. But overall, I think it's more of a melodrama, really, a love triangle between three characters. Yul Brynner is this character, and the other one, George, I can't pronounce his name, Chakiris. That's it. And the woman is Shirley Ann Field, who I must confess I've not seen that much. I don't know much about. I'm sure somebody might know her films that she's been in, but that's I enjoyed all that background that I've talked about. But basically, Yul Brynner, they want him to be the focus, I can see, in this film, and it doesn't quite work, I don't think.
All right.
Because even though it's because for me there's too much of this love triangle going on. I want to know, there's all these other events going on in the background, but I want to know more about the implications of what's going on in the background rather than the love story.
Right.
I think that's the problem.
You're more interested in the fringe stuff than you are
the
main
plot.
plot.
Yeah, but I mean, but it's interesting, the fact that it was a box office flop. And I think people just weren't. I don't know. Maybe they didn't see him as this great lead that they thought they were going to do. Yul Brynner was not the great leading actor as they thought from The Magnificent Seven, where he's fantastic.
Right, yeah.
They pushed him.
I won't be long, Ian. Sorry, I'm just going to check on my mum.
Yeah, and the thing is, you've got to have if you've got an act, you've got to have a good film, a good script. And something like this is, it's entertaining, but it doesn't quite hit the mark for me always. There's certain action sequences in this which are really good, connected with the sacrifices and that, but it gets bogged down, I think, in this love triangle, really. I don't know. I don't know whether do you care enough about the characters in the end? I don't know. But as I say, the public obviously weren't as keen on this film, which is a shame because, as I say, there's a lot of good things in it. And I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this film. But that melodrama kind of, I think, was too much. It spoiled it. I wanted more about the history, about things going on. But it said the director, in fact, I did look this up. He said he thought this was a film that was looking at capital punishment in many ways, that how was an anti-capital punishment film, showing the futility of how, in this society where everybody's been sacrificed here and there, every time they say that something good happens, somebody gets sacrificed, something bad happens, somebody gets sacrificed. So I don't know. That's what it says. Whether it's anti-capital punishment, I don't know. But I can see it. For me, it's more about religion, about how ridiculous religions can be. It's not a logical thing. Obviously, religion and this kind of thing shows it. There's also an interesting thing in the film is you see the development of writing, but writing is done in like carvings and pictures. So you have this thing where they're describing their way of writing down, because writing hadn't been developed, is through pictures, which of course we have seen if you look going right back to cavemen in the caves doing pictures. And this culture was very much involved in putting these images out, telling a story amongst the tribes of their culture, of their history, and that's really good. Also, there was another thing about, you could see how they were developing warfare as well, which is interesting. How various techniques were being used to fight, which again was interesting. So overall, that it's a good picture, but I just think maybe it concentrated a little bit too much on the love triangle. But I enjoyed it. I say I haven't watched as much this week, but the film of the week, I always pick a film of the week. It's this one. I just absolutely adored this film. Train to Busan, which is inspired me actually by Jamie Muckman Movies, who did a list of Asian films, some of which I'd already got as well. But this one, I've heard people talk about it as a really good zombie movie. And I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. And I have to say that this as a film, to me, is up there with Dawn of the Dead. It's up there with the great zombie films. It is an amazing film. It's so well done. It leaves you feel that adrenaline rush in the film, and it's about trains, of course. You're on a train. I mean, it just doesn't get any better, does it? And the cast, fantastic. You get to know the characters as well. They're not just sort of siphons of characters. This child actress, this little girl, she's brilliant in it. There's a dad. He's great as well, because it's about their relationship as well, building this relationship up, because he's a father who's been more concerned about his work and that. But then on board, there's all these other characters as well. And what an amazing film. And, there's the bits where they have to, certain carriages have been infected. So they've blocked off these carriages, which have all these people going mad. All the zombies are in these. And how are they going to get past that carriage to get further up? And, I'll stop them as well. Yeah, I mean, this is just a great film. I was just thinking, this is definitely one of my favorite zombie films. Definitely. I mean, that excitement. I mean, I was thinking like Dawn of the Dead is a very exciting film. And this brought all that back. And it's a film that I really, really love. This one. I just think it's fantastic. And the whole thing of the train, and as it's going along, and they have to stop, and they have to get it right through to Busan. It keeps you on your edge of the seat. And the ending as well. Wow. The ending is absolutely fantastic. I won't even say what the ending is, but if you've seen it, you know what I mean. I thought the ending was absolutely spot on. And it just brought to an end, I thought, an absolute brilliant journey. When you've watched a film and you're saying, cracky, this is like a journey. this literally is, once it gets going in the start, from the start and everything, you know, sort of things that are going to happen, and it's all there. Wow. I mean, I was watching also the making of, and the director was talking about how they filmed this and that. Again, they just did such a great job, the director, on this. And as I say, the strength is the characters now. It wasn't just one of those films which you didn't really care or bother about the characters. In this film, you genuinely cared about these characters and you were with them all the way. And it's such a great piece of filmmaking. I recommend it to anybody who's not seen this film. As I say, I think it's one of the best zombie movies I've seen, and as good, if not better, than Dawn of the Dead, which I have always rated and still love. This film just is outstanding. So that would be my film of the week for me in terms of watching, and that's it. At least that sort of made me feel better just talking about that, because I've not felt that good, and it's reflected in what I haven't seen as much this week. But that one, that gives you that thing back. That I don't know about seeing a good film. It lifts you. It does something to you. Seeing that made me realize how much I love it, and say thank you, Jamie, and Muckman Movies. Great video you did, and that inspired me to finally get that. I had heard people mention that before, and I thought, oh, I might as well. And it was only a tenner as well. 4K for a tenner on eBay. You can't go wrong. And that's it. So that's my what I've done. Music, I haven't really listened to any this week. I haven't really been in the mood, and that's probably a bad thing. I perhaps should have put some music on, but I just not really felt like it much. But you know, that's it. Right. So Delboy's back now, and we'll go through the comments.
I was just saying that you're a lucky bastard, because I can't find it for a tenner. It's 20 quid if I want to buy it, bastard.
Yeah, I know, but it's good. It really is good. It's a great piece of Asian cinema.
And I was checking just then. There was a lot of other stuff coming up saying Train to Busan presents. What's all that about then?
No, I don't know. They must have cashed in on this one.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but no, this is the one. This is the one.
I missed the boat. I might fork it out 20 quid for it, but at the moment, it's a bit. If it was a tenner, I'd have bought it. If it's 20 quid,
to be honest, I was lucky. I was lucky. I was just looking on eBay, and they're like, "Oh, a tenner, brand new copy, and a 4K." I'm on board. I got it. Yes.
Yeah. With everything going on with my mum and money and everything, it's a bit difficult for me to sort of like do that. In fact, I've actually even just in the last 2 days gone down my Amazon account, cancelling a load of stuff that I just
because of financial savings you've got to make.
It's starting to pinch now.
Yeah. Mind you, in terms of for your collection, it's not always a bad thing to sometimes be a bit more choosy in what you get. I think so. Anyhow, but you know, you don't have to get everything. You know.
Well, the other thing is, I've just noticed that a couple of our friends actually have just started going into. Well, you've got a big collection. What do you do, right? You need shelves, obviously, for me, I've got everything in crates because I don't live in, this house is not mine yet. I only own this house if something happens to my mother. And the only thing that I could do was buy protective covers. And for years and years and years, when I even first started on the chat circuit and the Pete and all of that, I used to say that every steelbook I buy from Steelbook Central a protective cover. And it's amazing that Mondo basically, I sent him a guide, a chart once. He said, because he was talking about protecting his stuff, and I said, look, mate, you really want to look at this chart and start ordering. And he did a lovely video on it. And now everybody's jumping on board. Saying, oh, I've got a chart here. Yeah, that chart came from me.
Yeah.
I've sent it to just about everybody. And it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's taken like a year to filter this through.
Yeah.
You really, really do need, if you're in this sort of like hobby of ours, right? The
Yeah.
worst thing that you can find happen, and I mentioned it in the video with Jim Jam when we went to Birmingham.
Yeah.
The worst thing that can happen is you go through your boxes and you find out there's scratches or there's a bloody puncture
Yeah.
hole or some sort of dent
Yeah.
or whatever it is. And it's because at the time you needed more space and you had to put things and you thought you'd protected them well, but you can't wrap everything up in cotton wool. So, of course, the protective covers I've been buying for absolutely years.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm just so glad that our friends are finally trying to get it out to a bigger mass audience, because the difference between them is I've only got 300 people to shout it out to. They've got a million or 1,000 or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
It's who shouts the loudest that gets it heard. I don't care where the information came from. What I'm happy is that they're finally protecting their investment, for which I've been trying to say to people for donkeys. You know, protect what you've got. My comics are that they're not just in a stack in a box somewhere. They're all boarded with plastic covers, right, to stop age and yellowing and all of that you get with books. I mean, you must know yourself, Ian, in a library. Books, they yellow just by the oxygen in the air.
Yes, that's true.
You need to protect your investment.
Why certain libraries have to have special conditions. We had some, I remember in the library, we had a lot of 19th century medical books, and they had to be kept at a certain temperature, and that there was no windows in the room. It was a sealed room because we didn't want, anything. If it got too hot,
white gloves, air conditioned.
You had to be,
blah 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 blah.
Because there were books in there from, I don't know, from virtually beginning of printing. Probably not quite that. Maybe about 16th century. Probably some of the early medical books. And you have to be extremely careful. You're old. It's fantastic though, because you're holding something. You're thinking, "Wow, this is amazing." But
400 years old. Jesus Christ!
I know. And some of these were just absolute classics. Like we have the original Darwin.
Book,
wow! Which is an important book.
Yeah, with his diagrams and everything. Yeah,
all his drawings. Fantastic. Yeah.
The new world, all of that new world stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely wonderful. But as I say, this room was, it was sealed up. Really, it was great to go in there. It's a real treat. Absolutely.
So what I was saying, it wasn't to have a go at anybody. It was just, I'm so glad that we're filtering by just doing chats. We're filtering through some of our knowledge that says it's not all about sometimes just owning the film and watching it. It's how you're going to preserve it. How you're going to keep it, right?
Yeah.
You can only do so much. But for an extra 20 or 30 pence, I can't turn around and say to you enough. You bought yourself a $29.99 steelbook. What's 30 pence on a steelbook protecting case?
Yeah, I can say that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? How stupid are you if you don't start thinking about
the only thing that I don't do, and other people don't do it either, is I have to rip that the thing that it's in, the cellophane bit that it's in. I can't keep that in. I'm not going to sit there messing about trying to keep that on so you can go in and out. No way would I mess about. That is off. That's just superfluous packaging that is not needed there. But I do understand the other bit, but as I don't get that many steel books, I do the best I can in protecting them. But unfortunately, all my collection will go in landfill. That's it. That's it.
I know what you ought to do. Make sure that you copy down the return address from Tony York, and then basically you can say, "On my death, please return to this address."
I'm sure that there's some people. I know. Some of the things I know have got a value, so I've had to try and explain to my son. But whether he'll take any
Well, do
notice,
you know
and he
what?
can make some money.
That was the whole reason, by the way, of my blog. If you ever go to someone's blog and you go to the very first blog they ever did, it's very interesting because that's where they say, look, I've decided to do this channel because.
Yeah.
And I mentioned must be the first 10 videos I ever did. I'm doing this for my nephew and nieces. It's to explain to them what I think is value and what is not. You know, I've got all these films. I want them to know this is an expensive one. This is one that's not. You know what I mean? This is something that's important to me. This is not important to me. You know what I mean? So that if anything happened to me, they can look back at these and go, "Oh, he said that one's worth something, right?" And then, you know, otherwise, they'll just look at it and go, "Nah, sold a lot, 50 pence each."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going, bloody hell!
And somebody will come along
to get that, and you're flogging it for 50 pence, you stupid.
And then, ironically, somebody will be doing a video saying, "Oh, I went into this charity shop and look what I got for £1." And it's your collection. If you're looking down, and you're going, "What?"
That was worth all those hours doing spreadsheets, wasn't it, for years? Yeah, thanks very much.
Somebody's just walked. It's all I suppose karma or what have you, but this is what made me laugh, and I think other people have mentioned it. You can't be in this for monetary gain. No. You'd have to be daft. You'd have to be stupid, I think, to think that you're going to make money on this. No, of course you're not.
I'll tell you what was funny though. I had a conversation with my sister this morning when we were helping my mum, and I said, I've just gone to Amazon, right, just to cancel some of my stuff. There's an advert there to buy the steel book of the film X, which is the middle trilogy, isn't it?
I love it.
The Tony, Maxine and Pearl.
The trilogy.
Right? Right at the bottom, it says, "This is for sale, £699." Right, I said to my sister, I bought that from France for $39.99 last year, right?
She went, "What?"
And this one that they're showing is the exact one I got because you can tell because I said, look at the year, look at the age rating. It's got a 16 and it's a green symbol on the left, right? Which means it's from Europe. That's because it never came to this country as a steel book, right?
Yeah.
I bought that £699. They're having a laugh, right? And I said, but this just goes to show you. I tell you what, there's some dumb person out there that will buy that.
They will,
And this is where I'm saying you need to seriously, Ricey, when I'm gone, think about this because I mean, if my nephew and niece can get £699 when I'm gone for one bloody film, then basically they're made up for life. I'll tell you when I'm gone.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. You could make a lot of money. You could. They could.
£699. They're having a laugh. I mean, Christ, you can still get the non-steel book for about 20 or 30 quid. They want £699 for just because it's in a steel book.
There must be. I think what they're appealing to there, though, is there must be some collectors that are so obsessed with that they've got to complete everything that they hope that somebody will do that and think, pay it because they want to complete it. And they probably would. They probably would do that, which is a bit daft to me, but there we are. Anyhow, let's get on with the comments. So, the first comment is from Sai. He says, "Evening, guys." Hello, Sai. Thank you.
Hello.
And then we've got Steve's Gaming Part 2. Oh, I didn't know there was a Part 1.
Let me just explain that. Please, if you're a supporter of Steve and me in regards to gaming, please resubscribe to Steve. Unfortunately, he deleted an email account that he didn't know was linked to his YouTube account.
Oh, no.
And it deleted absolutely everything he had. He had 1,000 videos, 3 years of history, and all of his subs went by just deleting a Google account that he didn't know was linked to his YouTube account.
Oh, it's awful.
Now, he set up a second channel. It's called Steve's Gaming Part 2. You can easily find it. I've resubbed, and of course, I've mentioned it as well in my Discord channel.
Yeah.
Please resubscribe. And anybody that's got a YouTube channel, be very, very careful on what you think might not be linked to, might possibly be linked to something else. It's like an octopus having an email account. You don't know what you opened it up with or what you did it for and all of that sort of stuff. It looked very much like it had nothing to do with his channel because it wasn't called Steve's Gaming at something or other. It was an absolute just normal naming sort of email account he used. He'd never used it, never been to it, deleted it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well. I'm sorry about that, but let's hope. Anyhow, please give him a please subscribe to his channel. I mean, when something like that happens, please, give him some subscriptions. I'm just sorry that's happened. It's terrible, isn't it? But yeah, please subscribe to his channel. And then we've got Tony saying, "Evening, Ian, Del, and chat." And then Si says, "I went to see the Pixies on Friday at Newcastle City Hall. It was possibly the greatest gig I've ever been to. The atmosphere was pure electric." That's quite a claim. And I think you've been to quite a lot of gigs, haven't you? Yeah. The Pixies, not a band that I'm really into, to be honest, but they were a very popular band, extremely popular. Glad you enjoyed it. Anyhow, that's fantastic. Then we've got Si saying, "Hi, Tony," and then Tony saying, "Si," and then Tony says, "It's Blowfield in his world domination lair again. Nukes flying on those screens." Yes. Yeah, all those screens that he's trying to dominate the world. Definitely, yes. Oh, yeah. Does it? He's not quite got the hair for Blowfield, has he? Really?
No.
He needs to lose. You need to lose the hair, I think, a bit more for Blowfield. And then Si says, "I went to see Mission Impossible Final Reckoning yesterday. The stunts are unbelievable. It is possibly my third favorite Mission Impossible behind Ghost Protocol and Fallout. Highly recommended." Well, that's great. I'm glad that final films are good. Yeah, it's good to go out on a high, I think. Definitely. When it's been a very good series, hasn't it? It's been I don't know how many films is that? Is that 9, 10 films, I think?
Yes, I've tried to work it out because some are split into 2, and I mean they released 6 in Steelbook literally only a couple of years ago, and then they did a double for the last film, and then all that sort of stuff. So it gets a bit.
So it's good to end it on a good high, because often
I think so.
Films, they peter out and they go on like those Fast and Furious films or whatever they're called. Steve's Gaming says part 2. The only good Mission Impossible to me is the 70s TV series. A complete collection, and it's superb. The films, in my opinion, are shite. Oh, God. Well, don't hold back in your opinion there, mate.
No, Steve's really he never holds back, Steve, and that's what I like about him, right? If he sees a poo on the floor, he'll say that's shite, right? That's it. He doesn't go, "Oh dear, look, there's some excrement there," right? I mean, it's shit, right? And I must admit, in his opinion, Mission Impossible really was a fantastic thing that you saw episode wise each week. And as a film, it don't make sense. And I have to turn around and say, do you know what? The longer you make the make the film, the more it turns into a sort of a spy thing, which is, it work as an enclosed 1 hour thing. It works for on certain films when you extend things. They don't work. They lose the emphasis because it then turns out to be a like an espionage film or or whatever, like Force 10 from Navarone, some mission, what I mean?
Yeah.
And here we got 7, 8, 9 films, whatever it is, costing how many million? And you look back and you had 7 seasons, and if you total them all up together, they didn't come to all of that for the 7 films. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The hours of Impossible Mission. There's a lot of story and a lot of texture in the TV series, and I will say none of that comes across in the films. But I will say this: the films are entertaining. They're popcorn fodder. I get enjoyment watching them. There's a lot to like. There's a lot of things that we've learned about stunt work, filmmaking, all from just trying to make these films. But my heart is with the TV series. I have to say, if you were to say you can keep one, right? The TV series or the series of films, which ones are you going to keep? I'd be going TV series every time. Simple as that. Yeah. But then that's somebody putting a gun to your head and saying you can only keep one. That's never going to happen, right?
No.
I'm just letting you know, if I have to make a decision on which one to keep, I would keep the TV series every time.
Yeah. I would say that it's good that they have been successful. I mean, the fact is, the films have been successful, and maybe opened up people to who've not seen the TV series, or don't even know about the TV series. So there are positive things to these.
Yeah,
things.
you can watch the film, and then somebody will turn around and say to you, "You know that this is based on a TV series," and then they go away and they suddenly fall in love with a TV show that was cancelled 30 years ago.
Exactly.
My God,
that's a good win, isn't it?
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
This is why I'm saying I get great enjoyment out of both. I respect what both were. I'm just saying that I think that there is a tapestry of stuff in the TV series that's never been put into the films, and the reason they're not is that it doesn't work as a film. It doesn't work as a film. It only works on TV. And from that point of view, it's a shame because film is therefore trapped in this capsule of you've got to tell something in under 3 hours or whatever it is, otherwise it ain't going to work. And TV's got the ability to say next week we'll expand upon that, and the week after that we'll expand upon that, and the week after that we'll expand upon that, and it has the luxury to do so. So it's nice that you've got writers that believe and understand that, and then they adapt something to make it work for film, to expand its likability. So each to their own. Just think if the only thing we had was movies, and the only thing we saw was Doctor Who and the Daleks, and we never had the TV series, right? You'd be going, what? All of that stuff wiped out of existence because all we know is, it's Peter Cushing's Doctor, and he did 2 films. That's it. That's all we know about the Doctor is that.
Yeah.
How boring would the world be with that? Some people would love that. Yeah, can we do that? Can we wipe existence and only have those 2 films? But what I'm trying to get across is that there's a tapestry of stuff that works at TV level, and there's a tapestry of stuff that only works at film level. You need the money, you need the know-how to make a film like Mission Impossible. There's no way am I going to be bloody falling out of a plane. I tell you that much. But you can pay me as much bloody money as you want, but I am not standing on the wings of a plane so that somebody gives me $1 million, right? I tell you what, I'll be. I know I'd slip. There'd be no point. I'll be dead.
Yeah.
What I mean. So,
I was thinking then the original Batman TV series of the 60s, when it made transference to the film, it was successful because it was just like watching an extended TV episode, and people liked it. It wasn't radically different from the TV series, and people, I think, don't like things that are too different from what they're used to. At that time, obviously, Batman reinvented itself when it got into darker stuff. We got all that, but at the time, that original one was it just reflected why people loved the TV series, and it was a good move to do that. I think you've got to keep your fans happy. I think definitely, because they'll soon tell you if they don't, they won't bother, supporting it. Anyhow, let's carry on. We've got Jamie saying, "Hello, one and all." Hello, Jamie.
You're late.
Hey, Monkman. Tony says, I rewatched The Alamo again recently, Del. First time on Blu-ray. Have you seen the 2004 version? Only out on DV, as far as I know. I enjoy it as much as the Wayne version.
I will be honest with you. I haven't seen the 2004 version of The Alamo. No, not. I've seen fringe films based around what was going on at the Alamo as well as the actual Alamo. You know what I mean? But I haven't seen the remake in 2004. And from what you're telling me here, it seems very much like it's something I'm missing out on. So I will write that down. 2004 Alamo.
It's not got a Blu-ray release as well.
Well,
there's so many, isn't there? There's so many that we forget haven't made it to Blu-ray.
Yeah. So this is the thing I like about it, when people suggest things and I go, do you know what? I've just watched The Alamo. It was 3 hours long. Loved it. Right.
Yeah.
I'd seen it in bits, but never saw the thing all the way through. I actually managed to see something all the way through. I liked it better because of that. And I just thought the last half hour, how gruesome was that last half hour? I'm still can't get quite how gruesome the last half hour of that film was.
Mm.
And then right at the end, and I don't want to ruin it, you've got one of the wives and the children going past all the army that were trying to blow up the fort.
Yeah.
And this little girl turns around and said, "Where's Daddy? Bloody hell, how much more do you want to tie up your heartstrings with this? Yeah, your daddy's just had a bloody sword pushed right through his heart, through by all these people that were just walking past." You know what I mean? It's like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a powerful film, and the point got across very, very convincingly. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right. We've got Tony saying, "Evening, Jamie." Jamie says, "I saw Mission Impossible Final Reckoning 2. Fully enjoyed it. Lots of criticism about the first hour of exposition, but it didn't bother me. Couple of fantastic action sequences too."
Which is pretty much exactly what I said, wasn't it? I said, McMahon contacted me and he said, you know what? I actually like the second film better than the first film. First hour's a bit boring, blah, 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 blah. Exactly, right? And I'm just turning around and saying it's amazing how some people have negatively put that film across. It's like, oh, it's a flop because it hasn't made $1 billion in a week and all of this sort of stuff, and oh, it's the most boringest Mission Impossible film that you'd ever see in your life, and blah 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 blah. It's a second part of a 2-part film that has to tie up the strings that were in the first film, and then also continue a story that has to end at the end of this one as well. It's got one of the hardest jobs in the world to do.
Yeah.
And it's it's like I was saying with the Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse thing. When the second film came out and we knew it was part of a trilogy, the second film is going to be the dullest. It's going to be an all-out fight fest in the third film. The second film is going to be all the story points that got to be opened up that the third film will tie up. You see what I mean? Yeah. So the second film, you tend to find in trilogies, the second film is the talky version, the version where it talks more than it does anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. The third film ties it all up.
Yeah.
That even happens in Back to the Future to an extent.
Yeah.
Some people watch the first Back to the Future and then they suddenly decided, no, we'll make this a trilogy. We'll do a second and a third part. The second version is complained about as being too dark.
Huh.
They also say that it goes nowhere because it goes round in loops. But then it all ties up with the third film where they go to a Western and they destroy the time machine and all of that sort of stuff. It makes perfect sense. And then all of a sudden, the second film is a great film again. You have to look at things as a whole picture. You have to put your eyes back. But at the time, you only had the second film to gauge. You never had the third film. So you're looking at it from an individual point of view without knowing what the third's going to be like. So this is where I'm saying if you go in and watch Mission Impossible and you watch the second part before the first part, you might find that it's a totally different beast to somebody that watched the first part and then watched the second part. See what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You get more out of it if you've watched it in order.
Yeah. I think it's important to say that some of the greatest films have been box office flops. Being successful at the box office doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad film, because time changes things as people move along and think, actually, this film is really good.
Yeah, so, somebody put out even you know how it is in YouTube land, Ian.
Yeah,
there's always somebody that puts the 20 top box office flops, which are actually quite good. You know what I mean? It'll always have the same things in it. Blade Runner will be there. That's the flop. And it has things like Labyrinth and the Dark Crystal and the Black Cauldron. And it'll have all these films. And you're going, over time, people have looked back at these and they've gone, do you know what? It's all right film, that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Exactly. It just amazes me. It says, and at number 2, Blade Runner. And you're going, yeah, we all know it flopped. We all know, oh my God, what a film that is. Blah, 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 blah. We learned.
Do you think it happens the reverse way, that films that were a massive success, that sometimes over years we think, well, maybe it's not quite as good as we thought it was? I wonder if that happens. Throw out.
I think number 9 was Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh,
right.
Was it?
And at number 5, it was The Thing. And they were flops.
The Thing,
look how we look at John Carpenter now when we look at those films. We go, The Thing, bloody hell! I must have that 15 times in my collection.
Yeah,
that's how much I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like what?
Yeah. All right. Then we've got James says, Addy, Tony, and Sai. Sai says, the submarine portion of the film was superb. All right, that's it. Yeah. I have a couple of 70s Mission Impossible series, Steve. Totally agree. Great series.
Cheers.
Jamie says, I really enjoyed Mickey 17. It was like a melange of all Bong Joon-ho's other films in terms of its social commentary.
It does mention Bong Joon-ho right on the front. So
yeah,
I don't know too much about him, but I think I ordered Mickey 17, by the way, when Muckman was talking about Bong Joon-ho in this particular chat. He was talking about other films, and I think I ordered it based on what he said, actually.
Yeah,
believe it or not, I think I ordered it. Otherwise, I was going, "What the hell's that?"
Yeah, I think I need to maybe watch it again. Anyway, I won't say any more about it because
no, don't ruin it for me. Don't ruin it for me. Somebody will.
Yeah,
before the night's out.
Yes, I really enjoyed the scene, but I did question one particular thing. And with how he gets out.
Don't say any more.
I get you, Muckman Sai says. And Steve's Gaming Part 2, Ian Dell. I'm a big fan of Edward. I'm a big, I suppose it is fan of Edward Fox fan. Sorry, I've stopped reading that very well.
Yeah.
Do you like him? And which of his films is your favorite? for me, it's Battle of Britain.
He's been in a lot, hasn't he? Been in a lot.
I know which I'd put as my favourite.
What is it? Force 10?
No, it's probably is one of his very first films that he made, which is 1963, The Servant, with Dirk Bogarde. What a film that is! That film is, I always talk about it, but it's a great film, and he's in that. I think that's a very early role for him in that. Excellent. Yeah,
well,
Battle of Britain.
I really got to know that character from the Duelists.
Yeah.
But I forgot how good he was in things like Force 10 from Navarone. Just recently, I watched Gandhi.
Yeah, Gandhi. Yeah, great film by the man.
Yeah, your fave.
Yeah.
Your fave.
Yeah.
Was he in Day of the Jackal?
Yes. Yeah. He's the first one, the best one. Yeah.
I'll go with that. I'll go with that. I was impressed with Day of the Jackal when it first came out.
Yeah. It's because I do love The Servant, such a great film.
I haven't. Do you know what? I don't think I've seen that film. What's it about?
It's.
Don't tell me it's about a servant, because I'll
No, I think it's something you should just.
That's the signal. Sorry.
I'll carry on. Yeah. Right. Let's have a look. I was blown away by the plane chase. It confounds me how Tom Cruise can do all these stunts. I know. It puts so many of us to shame. I don't know how we can do it. You know, when you've got a decrepit body like mine, definitely. James says, if the Oscars introduce a Best Stunt Award, does Tom Cruise win for the plane sequence? Well, there you are. You know, I bet they wouldn't. I bet the Oscars wouldn't do that. I don't know. Has Tom Cruise had an Oscar? I don't know. I always think in Rain Man he should do, but I don't know. Muckman, I think I was watching Jackie Chan in the 80s and said, I can do better than that. God, I wish I could. Yeah. You're laughing, yeah. Edward Fox is great in Day of the Jackal. It is a great film of its time. It's a 70s film, isn't it? And it's much better than the remake, I think. Definitely it has that perfect. There's something about it, yeah. Tony says, Steve, just watching The Shooting Party with Edward Fox. First time watch, enjoyed it. My favorite performance of his is The Day of the Jackal. Now, isn't James Mason in The Shooting Party? Possibly his last film. I bet Tony knows that. I've got a feeling it is. But yeah, I have seen it quite a long time ago because James Mason's in it. Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, Day of the Jackal is so good. Was Edward Fox in Force 10 from Navarone? And Jamie says yes. And Steve's Gaming says yep. And then yes, I as an explosion expert, I think, says Tony. Sai says, I thought he was the explosive guy. Yeah. I watched the Creature feature with William Shatner from the late 70s, The Kingdom of the Spiders. I enjoyed it. It was a great watch. Oh, it would be. I've not seen it, but that sounds absolutely brilliant. I bet Delboy's seen that. He's a big William Shatner fan. I know that for certain. I've not seen that one. but it sounds good. I like those creature features. Tony, unusual subject matter, Ian, Kings of the Sun. Mayans clashing with North American native. I agree. It's not brilliant, but good fun. Yeah, it's true. It is enjoyable. It's just I just felt that sort of love triangle kind of dominated it a bit more than it should have done, with all the other stuff going on. But I enjoyed it. It's a good thing. And also seeing Native Americans, Indians, is fantastic to see that in a different context from what we normally get, which is always in the Wild West. Have you seen Apocalypto, Ian Dell? There's a brilliant Mayan film directed by Mel Gibson. Yeah, I think it's a masterpiece. I do. I think it is amazing because of the language. It's all in subtitles. It's just fantastic. It's and directed by Mel Gibson as well. I absolutely loved it. What can I say? It's an epic film, and it keeps you really going. I don't know. It might be quite a long film, but for me, I watched it and was just totally absorbed in it. It was like a thriller, as I remember. It was just absolutely brilliant. The whole culture thing. Yeah, I've got that on Blu-ray, and absolutely, it makes me want to actually watch it again now. But it was so good. It was amazing. It just kept me totally engaged in it, and Mel Gibson was a fantastic director. Absolutely. And so I love the ending of Apocalypto. It really blew my mind. It really is a great film. I totally recommend it to anyone. Apocalypto. Ian did a review of Apocalypto, I think, Jamie, a long time ago. I've seen it. Very enjoyable. Did I? I may well have done a review. I haven't been doing as many film reviews recently, but yeah, I probably did. I was just totally loved it. Absolutely loved it. Yeah. It's sometimes you watch a film and you get so excited. It's like I nearly did one of Train to Busan. Perhaps I should have done. I was so excited by that film. I just it really had me going. And then we've got a Delboy. Yeah, Tony, you probably sent it to him. You get laughing out loud. Yeah, there we are. He gets the normal thing in to you, Tony. The film, man, is enjoyable, and the review. Yes, thank you, Tony. I don't think I sent Apocalypto, Del, as I only have it on DVD. No, you didn't, Tony. So there, he thinks everything I get is sent by you. He's no idea, has he? Absolutely no idea. But what do you expect? You know, I mean, he's a southern softy. He doesn't know note. They don't know note. Halfway through, Tony says, halfway through another of Kings of the Sun director. Oh, J. Lee Thompson's films. North Left Frontier, 1959, with Kenneth Moore, Lauren Bacall, Norbert Lom as the baddie. That is a great cast. Love them all. Kenneth Moore, what can you say? And Lauren Bacall, wow, she's great. Oh, I loved Lauren Bacall. And Herbert Lom as well. He's another one who plays those roles. He's never massive in the films, but when he's in there, he's just great. Love Herbert Lom. And then we've got Sai saying, I'm glad you enjoyed Train to Busan. It's one of my favorite zombie films ever. Yeah, the gut punch ending gets me every time I watch it. It does, doesn't it? Yeah. The ending is wow. But the whole film, I'm just so involved in it. I absolutely was so involved in it. I've not seen out like that it made me excited. You know, sometimes that you watch a film and you think, wow, this is exciting. It makes you love films. Films like that makes you really give you something. You think, wow, this is what film is about, you know. Whereas you watch I know I'm almost going to have a rant, but you watch these Netflix kind of films, they don't seem to have any heart there. There's nothing there to them, and you're not excited by them. They're thinking, oh, it's another Netflix film. Oh God, Yeah, as good as it may be on paper, it may look great, and you see it and think, oh yeah, I enjoyed it, and then you forget about it. There's no heart there. These something like Train to Busan just grabs you, and as I say, I rate it as much as Dawn of the Dead as a zombie movie, and I absolutely love Dawn of the Dead. I think it's a great zombie movie, but that, wow, yeah. Jamie said, always a pleasure to inspire people to watch some of my favorite films. Yeah, it's a great video you did there, Jamie. And yeah, it was. It made you think, oh, I have to try that. I said there's probably only about 4 or 5 films on your list that I'd already seen. So it was nice to add that one to it. And I'll probably watch more. It says, I need to watch The Sadness now, Ian. Oh, yeah. The Sadness. Definitely. And then, oh, yeah. Jamie says, I said in my video, it's more of a thrilling zombie film rather than scary. Yeah, I don't think it. I agree. Mind you, I don't. I'll be honest. I love horror films. Absolutely love horror films. I never get that scared by them. Even the most gory, scary ones, even with these jump rides, they never scare me. I don't know whether that says more about me being some sort of psychotic person, but they never do. But that film, I just loved it. It's just made me really think, wow. You say, yeah, there is a prequel. Yeah, it's a Soul Station and a sequel, Peninsula to Train to Busan. Both entertaining, but not as good. Yeah. And then we've got Jim Jam Movies and TV. Good evening, guys, from Lancaster. Oh, you're up in Lancaster, aren't you? Having a break, aren't you, up there? Yeah, I saw your video. And Mukman says, Train to Busan, £15 at CX, Del. We'll have to try and pass that on to him when he comes on. That's pretty good, isn't it? 15 quid. Yeah, I was just lucky with mine, but that's great. And then yeah, actually, I have to just talk about this. I saw on eBay Seven Samurai up. It was about 15 quid, which was an excellent, but there were people bidding, and I just missed out on the bidding. I could have got it for about, I think it was about £17, which I still thought was a good price. And unfortunately, I missed out. But it's a film like that, which is quite expensive. But if I can get it cheaper, I'll definitely go for Seven Samurai. Definitely. But £15 isn't bad. Yeah, that's pretty good. And James says, evening, James. And then Jim Jones says, hi, Muckman. Tony says, evening, James. What a Dudley gent doing in Lancaster. Hey, by Lancaster. Oh, that's I think that's on Lancashire. It's on wrong side of the border, isn't it? In Lancaster. By heck. Oh yeah. I've just Muckman said that he's seen Train to Busan at CEX for 15 quid.
I typed it in,
yeah,
and it usually comes up with the top shops, eBay stuff, and it didn't mention Kex.
Oh, right. Oh,
I'll look after the show. I just want to thank everybody for recommending films, because I tell you what, I'm expanding my horizons on cheaper films that aren't steel books, because of the money situation at the moment.
It's a good thing, yes.
And of course, I think that everybody here, and I mean everyone here, everybody who's made a comment, you all sort of like expand my horizons and tapestry. And you know, like I said, I can't help but sort of like thank people like Euphoria Pictures and Mondo for getting out there, protecting your hobby and all of that sort of stuff. They need to be shouted out and praised. I mean, I don't watch them as much as I used to, but I mean, they're fantastic people that want us to not have stuff destroyed. And people like Ian and Muckman, they've expanded my horizon more than the 2 years previous of me being on the chat circuit. I mean, I listen to people, how it is, you're in a chat panel of 6 people. People are saying, have you seen this? Have you seen that? And all of this sort of stuff. I couldn't write it all down. I weren't going to watch 3 hours of me with my face up there in the top right-hand corner looking bloody ugly to write all those films down. Here, I have the chance because it's such a sort of like a secluded little fan club type thing that gives me the time to write things down. And then I can come back next week and say, do you know what? What a film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What a film. It's sort of like a little club. It's like going to computer club here.
Yeah.
It's such a great thing. I can report some ideas here and say to people, do you think that's a good idea for my channel? I'm thinking of doing this.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned earlier on something that's happened to Steve. Now, this will be for people like Muckman, people out there. He deleted an email account. He lost 3 years of his stuff, right? So we all rallied round and we found out that there's a channel called Odyssey, right? It's called Odyssey. And it's a YouTube sort of like friendly channel where you create an account and it's got a button called Sync Your YouTube Account, and it copies all your videos across to that channel, right? You can watch it like YouTube, right? But basically, you've now got a backup of a backup. You delete that stuff, it's over there.
Oh, right. That sounds good.
It costs nothing.
Yeah.
Every time you post a video, you just go over to that channel and hit sync, and it will copy it back across over there. You can watch it just like a YouTube channel. It's Odyssey, ODYSEE. And if that had happened to him and he'd have had an Odyssey account, he could have copied it back across. And because he didn't, and because nothing is on a hard drive, once you post it to YouTube, you generally delete it from your hard drive. Oh, don't need that anymore.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Yeah.
Gone. All of it. 3 years. 3 years of history wiped out by 1 second of a deletion of an email account.
Oh.
This is where I'm partaking some information right now to all the YouTube developers out there. Odyssey. Go there. Create an account. Just hit that sync button. It will take all day to copy all your videos across. Who gives a shit? You've got a backup that costs you nothing. Nothing. There you are. Ian, I'll talk to you about that afterwards, just in case you're worried.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. It sounds good.
I'm always trying to help people.
Yeah.
I don't care that people think I'm not a helpful person or I say nasty things. I don't. I joke about. I've always tried to participate and say, this is what I've watched, what I've not watched. This is great, all of this sort of stuff. People that want to lambast you, let them. I'm not like that. I know I'm not like that.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, it's all about. I've always loved it. I've always loved the fact that when I'm at work and somebody is new, I've loved them sitting with me, and I basically tell them, this is how you do it. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. Here's a little tip for you. Blah 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 blah. I love it. Right. That means I've partake with some knowledge to somebody else.
Yeah.
And they can come and they can probably in 20 years' time say, I was mentored by this Delboy bastard, right? And he showed me the ropes, right? Right? You know, but I don't care because your name goes past your life. You know, I'm just going to be a name on a stone at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like we all will be.
Yeah. 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 I know. Great. It makes you think a lot.
And I tell you what, somebody just put up there, I like the old smell, very comforting. That's books, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Tell you
I
what,
love
you'd love my comic book room. Jesus,
yeah.
1962 comics in there. You open up the cellophane in that to
And you
pull the
get
comic
the
out.
yeah,
Blimey.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Dead pulp smell. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous.
yeah,
Lovely.
yeah. Yes. Uh, and then I don't want all that back. Yeah.
Oh, that's the yeah. Repost it back to Tony. Yeah. If you've ever bought something you don't want, I've got an address you can send it to. I'll post it on in my description box of my channel. Any shit that you bought that you don't want anymore, send it to Tony York, care of this address.
Is just ask your son to donate your collection to charity instead of landfill. Yeah, I think that would be good. Like, whether he listens to me, I don't know, but that's true. It would be a good idea. Just put it in, and some these YouTubers would go along and then, well, wow, look at that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just don't think of your collection as your pension for when you're 70 or something.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. Do you know?
You might be a bit disappointed. You might actually be enlightened. It might actually work out for you. But I tell you what, most people, you're going to be a bit disappointed.
I wouldn't get rid of it anyhow, even if it's not worth out. It's part of my history. I've been collecting for years, and I got rid of all my VHS history. It's funny because at the time I thought it was fantastic to get rid of all this VHS stuff, basically because there was no room. And now I've been collecting DVDs since 2000. There's absolutely no way I would get rid of anything. It'll have to be when I die, they're gone. But I love them. I'll keep them as long.
It's amazing. It's amazing, really, when you think, right? We're in 2025. 25 years ago was the year 2000.
Yeah.
I can remember the year 2000, the year that I was at work for more hours than I care to remember because I was trying to get rid of the millennium bug on all the computers that were acting at Lloyd's Bank. I was on more overtime than I care to remember, or when we get to the New Year's Day, all the planes were going to fall out of the sky.
Oh yeah, they did that.
Your microwave is going to blow up. Your telly's not going to work anymore. All of this sort of shit.
And no
propaganda, but it's a lot of it was true. A lot of it was true. Anybody that remembers using things like Lotus 123 or Excel, and it used the date format, and you only had 2 dates, it would go back to 00.
Yeah.
And that, at the end of the day, it would think it's the 1900s, not the 2000s. You've lost 100 years, and it would not work. It is true, and a lot of BIOSes only had a two-digit year stamp. You had to have a 4-digit year stamp. Amazing what we learned. And 25 years ago that was, and it's like this in my brain. It's there.
Yeah.
And yet I can't remember what I had for my tea last night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's stupid. Right? I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I think the year of 2000 just changed me completely because as soon as I saw my very first DVD, you just knew straight away. You thought, God, it was like a massive leap. I'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
It was, and you knew this is the future, and it was straight away.
Somebody asked me. I asked a question to Pete. I think I said, which decade was best, 80s or 90s, right, for film? And I gave him my answer. I said, I always respect and love the 80s. The 90s for me was the expansion of my collection. It was where I collected everything. Technology moved me forward into laser discs and then eventually into DVDs. So the boon of going to the cinema started to be the boon of watching stuff at home for the 90s.
Yeah.
I was still going to the cinema a lot, don't get me wrong, but it was the boon period that started off my collection is the 90s, really. 80s, I was collecting.
Yeah.
But it's just I was more recording off of TV because I couldn't afford stuff really.
Yeah. Well, do you remember the first films were quite expensive to get hold of, weren't they?
Yeah.
You know, they were pretty expensive.
Even in the 90s, if you went to an independent video store and you said, I'd like to buy the rental film that this week in about 2 months' time, can I buy the X rental of it? That guy who bought that film to rent out was forking out £90 per tape to rent that to you guys. And that's why when he got caught in a machine, you had to have insurance. Do you remember? You had to sign an insurance document with the video place because it said if you bring that tape back with it snapped or anything like that, you've got to pay for the replacement of that tape. And it was 90 quid. And you were going, 90 quid? Jesus, I only rented it from you for £1.75. What the hell's 90 quid all about? But that was his livelihood. He had to buy 14 copies of that at £90. And then in 3 months' time, he was putting it in the bargain bin that you could buy it off of X rental, right, for about 14 quid. And you went, yeah, I've got it for £14. Marvelous. And he must have rented that film out 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? He'd got his money. He didn't need to get like 90 quid anymore. It was dead to him.
Yeah.
I only need one on the shelf over there now because everybody's watched it. You know.
Yeah.
We don't need 5 copies anymore, 10 copies, 14 copies. Do you remember you used to go to the "This is out this week" section and you'd have 14 copies of Back to the Future, Rocky IV, all that, 14 of them, and you'd go to it and you'd go, oh, it's out for rent at the moment. You can't borrow that because we've got all of our copies gone. You went, how many copies you got? About 15. Jesus, 15 people. When's the next one coming back? Well, somebody did get it yesterday, so it's got to be back before 6 o'clock. So if you come back, I remember all of those conversations. You come back after 6 o'clock, he's probably going to be here because otherwise we're charging him twice for having it. You see?
Yeah.
So, well, you know. So yeah, you used to get into a routine.
Well, actually, my experience is before that. It's our local shop used to just have like a spinning thing with a few.
Oh, a spin rack. A spin rack. Yeah.
With DVDs on. I'm sorry, with VHS tapes on. And you could rent them then. They were doing it like as a sideline, you know, putting it in. And this was before the rental shops.
Yeah.
But I remember
it's amazing because Boots even had videos. I mean, you go into a Boots now and it's got makeup and it's got all of the
don't forget they sold records as well.
It's got all the perfumes and makeup and it's got toiletries and all of that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
People forget you used to be able to buy game consoles and games from there and videos and all sorts. They used to have charts up saying this is the chart for this week and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
W.H. Smith was exactly the same.
Oh, Smith.
You went over from Boots, you went over to W.H. Smith, you know.
Yeah. You'd have an old floor in our shop which was dedicated to records and DVDs. Imagine that, you know. Well, there were VHS tapes. So it was VHS tapes and records. Fantastic. And then CDs all on one floor.
Yeah, sad. One of the saddest days for me was when Woolworths shut down.
Yeah.
One of the saddest days was Woolworths.
Yeah. Mind you, W.H. Smith's has closed down now. We ain't got one.
W.H. Smith, just so you know, boys and girls, if you didn't know, W.H. Smith want to be a worldwide name. So they're closing down their high street sort of body of shops, and they're going to put everything into the airports.
Yeah.
Where they've been for years, right? But they're also going to put a shop in most countries, you know, a shop in France, a shop in Germany, W.H. Smith, all of this sort of stuff, to get the money in. That they know full well that they can charge 3 times the amount of how much something is in a high street when you go on to an airport. If you ever bought a bottle of water, it's like £1.95 compared to about 60 pence everywhere else, right? It's all because you're buying it to go on the plane with because you're going to want a drink or something, right? And they know full well that they can put on the magazine may say £3.50, but they put a sticker over the top of it that says bloody £8 or something. They know where they're coming from, right? WH Smith. And so they've decided we'll pull out now from the high street where we're not doing very well, and we'll get our name out there in the world. You know, all the tariffs and everything won't affect us because precincts are zero. If you go into a precinct and you hook onto the Wi-Fi, it's got no region zone. It's region 0, right? You can hook onto anything. You can watch any Netflix channel you want in an airport because it's not regioned. You've got too many international people that pass through that when they connect to their internet, they must be able to connect, and it will be region 0. So, of course, what I'm trying to say here is that I worry a little bit because all the post offices moved into WH Smith.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
When they pull out of the high street, where does the post office go again?
Yeah, exactly. Is it the end of the post office?
Well, with the post office in the news at the moment, turning around and saying that they're losing millions, there's all these charges going against them because they didn't deliver in first class post within 2 or 3 days and all of this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You've got to turn around and say it's not long before stamps will be dead. There'll be nothing going by stamp anymore.
No. Yeah.
Just think how many people's stamp collections are suddenly going to go up.
Yeah. I've got quite a few.
What do you mean you used to be able to buy a first class stamp for 50 pence? I've been buying it at 80 or 90 on pence or £1.10 for how many years? So used to be. And the funny thing is, everybody is still doing the same trick now. Go into your post office, buy one whole 100 sheet of first class stamps, right? It doesn't matter. In 10 years' time, it will still say one stamp on it. It will have no price on it, and they will honor it as a first class stamp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? All those people that did that in the 90s.
Yeah.
They're getting away with murder. They only bought a first class stamp for 13 pence.
That's right. I know.
No wonder the Royal Mail's going under because they, that as far as I'm concerned, there's all those loopholes, isn't it? It's like, somebody's got some bright spark's gone out and told them to go out and buy 100 stamps. Shit. That customer's gone for the rest of our lives.
Since I always say this all the time, but COVID had such an effect. COVID changed everything, and that was just the final nail in the coffin, wasn't it? People no longer thought, I'll send anything by post anymore. People didn't. Yeah. That's what happened.
Email has been around for 20, 30, 40 years, for 30 odd years, 35 years, something like that. Yeah. And it's taken till now before stamps, we still send Christmas cards to loved ones and all that sort of stuff.
But not many. You don't get many now, do you?
Yeah, you don't get many. If you go in now, the biggest thing that the post office does now is the Royal Mail for parcel post.
That's right. That's why they make the thing. Yeah.
And every time you do something with that, you give your money over to the post office. They don't put stamps on it. They put a bloody label on it that says £1.75. Signed delivery only or something. Yeah. Right? There's no stamps going on it.
Yeah.
Stamps went out years ago for all of that.
Yeah.
It's all barcodes, QR codes, and everything else now. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even the stamp has a thing on it, doesn't it now? I think. Some sort of code on. Yeah. It's changed. Nobody bothers sending them much. Well, why would you? I suppose that's the point. People say, well, why would I bother sending anything anymore like that? And then we've got here Movie Mayhem. Dan.
Oh, that one was blocked. I don't know if it's a bad one or not. It was blocked, that one. When will you show anything from your ginormous steelbook collection you always allude to? I don't get that. I always show my steelbook collection at the end of my blog.
Did you send any individual?
Also, did you send any individual as many sub mails as
you
did?
Oh God, yeah. Sorry, I
don't know what know what that means. No, I don't even know if it's a bad thing. Also, did you send any individual as many sub mails as you did Nigel? I sent stuff to Scott. I sent stuff to Euphoria Pictures. Anything because they were friends. running into hundreds of pounds. I did send the Laurel and Hardy collection. That was about 40 odd quid. There's nothing bad in this. I'm just reading it out. At the end of the day, if I'd been on their panel and I saw something that was about a Western and I thought that my friend would love a Western and it was something that they hadn't got, I bought it. If most of the stuff I ever sent to Nigel was a duplicate, by the way. I had 2 copies of Last Action Hero on 4K. So I sent him one. I said, look, it's no skin off my nose. I've got 2 of them, right? It weren't money. It was duplicates mostly. And why not? If you've got a friend that you think that you could get a benefit from it, why not? Nothing there is something that we don't already know. If you just by going back and looking at videos of chat stuff, you will see it does not say anywhere that it was subscriber mail, because it never was. It was gifts. And from a gift point of view, most of it was duplicates. So I wasn't buying stuff per se. There was the odd one that I bought. I remember buying a film, I think, called Elysium, the Nige. I think I bought one called. I bought the Expendables at Christmas, I think, for Scott. Yeah, I bought the Expendables 3 on Steelbook. Again, that was a duplicate. Bought 2 by mistake. So, at the end of the day, it's no different than Tony sending you his DVD stuff because he's expanded his stuff to Blu-ray. No different. Absolutely no. It's absolutely no different. But if somebody is trying to say something nasty to me here, tell me where the nastiness was. Yeah. Is it nasty to send something to somebody in the post these days to say, thanks for being a mate, here's a film I'd like you to watch? Is that a bad thing? Sorry. Don't get that movie, Mayhem. I hope that answers your question. I have no idea if that was a nasty thing to do. I know one thing. It doesn't look anything nasty in there. I have got a ginormous steelbook collection, I have to say.
A famous one.
Steelbook collection. But if you want to know, go to the end of my blog. You'll see that I show them off every week. These are the things that have turned up this week. I do it every week. I've done it for 160 odd blogs. There's nothing new there. Next question.
Right. Here's a nice question for you. What is your favorite chase in a film?
Chase. Well, if you're talking car chases, I mean, the one that comes to mind straight away is Bullet, isn't it? Bullet. But that's not my favorite chase in a film. That's not my favorite chase in a film. Yeah. Let me think. No, you go ahead and I'll think.
What comes to mind for me is 39 Steps.
Wow,
I just love
if we're going to go down that route, I will turn around and say North by Northwest.
Yes, brilliant. No, they're perfect. I love that film as well, North by Northwest.
The greatest chase, the greatest chase that ends at the head of Mount Rushmore. I mean, what a bloody structure to have as your last part of your film. Mount Rushmore.
Notice Hitchcock. He's very good at it. Hitchcock was excellent.
Cat and Mouse. King of Cat and Mouse.
Yeah.
You've even got that. You've even got Vertigo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can go down all sorts. Routes. I mean, could you actually turn around and say the film Zodiac is a chase film where you're looking for Scorpio all the way through the film? They're chasing after him. They can't get to him. There's Copycat. There's the Seventh Sign. There's the 7 Deadly Sins. That's Seven. Yeah, the film Seven.
Yeah.
I mean, is that a chase film because they're looking for the killer of the the 7 Deadly Sins for the 7 Deadly Sins killings? Copycat is the same. We're looking for the killer that's copycatting all of the serial killing stuff. Could we turn around and say films that have got animals that are chasing you, like The Edge, the grizzly bear that's after them in The Edge. They're constantly being hounded by the grizzly that because they're stuck in the wilderness trying to get back to civilization. And of course, because there's blood on them, of course, the grizzly can smell blood from bloody miles away, and they're all after them. What about all the films where dogs or whatever it is chasing them? What about all the zombie films? What about
there's loads, absolutely stacked. Yeah,
Jesus Christ, man!
Oh, what about a variation?
That's a difficult question.
Yeah. A variation on the chase theme would be Speed. I mean,
Speed, yeah,
is a great film because you've got that kind of chase factor, haven't you, involved in it? Really.
I mean, when I saw that question, the first thing I thought about was car chase. Oh, there's plane chases, car chases, the space race. The space race is a chase.
Yeah.
Christ. You know, could you call Apollo 13 a chase film? I don't
know. And then, as I say, the spy films, you often get people who are being chased and they're trying to avoid getting caught.
Yeah, and Mission Impossible that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
How many chases in it? See, James Bond films with chase scenes in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I could not answer that question now. I could not. I gave you a cat and mouse chase answer, which is North by Northwest.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. This is a film that I rather like as well. Jamie, the opening scenes of Robbery. Oh, what a film. Stanley Baker. It's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Love it. Yeah. And then Si says, Muckman, would you class Midnight Run as a chase movie?
Oh, yeah.
If so, I'd say that. Yeah. You definitely. Yeah.
Is The Hitcher a chase film? Anything where you're running after someone is a chase film, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean,
a horror chase film. Is it a horror film?
Yeah, it's Friday the 13th, a chase film. What a bloody loop.
Yeah, you could say he is. He's Jason's after them all, isn't he? He's trying to get everybody. You can expand this.
I don't know.
We're making
a joke from a very intelligent question. It's just that it's so you can answer it in so many different ways. It's fun. It's fun to have a little talk about it. Really, it really is a fun question. That really like that.
It says I'm not aware of that one, Tony. Oh, it's a good film. I'd say so. Si. Matrix Reloaded. The freeway is a good one. Yeah. This one.
Just think of all the car chases that were in Tenet. You know, that one that goes backwards.
Oh, that's a continuous one almost. Yeah.
Jesus
this one
Christ.
As well. The Blues Brothers. That has got a brilliant car chase.
Well, you know, I've talked a million times about the car going through the precinct.
Yeah.
When I was a youngster, they showed that on Tiswas all the time. That clip. Going through the precinct.
Brilliant.
And I thought to myself, this is an 18 film, and they're showing a police car going through the middle of a precinct, destroying everything on a Saturday morning show aimed at anybody from around about 5 years old till about 14 or something, right?
Yeah.
And it never ceases to amaze me what we got away with in the 70s.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. This one's a good one. Even the subway chase from the French Connection.
Oh, what a film! Yeah. The French Connection is so much more than just a chase film, though, isn't it?
Yeah. It is definitely. And the sequel. The sequel is just as good. I think the sequel's brilliant. Yeah. I think showing that descent, it's absolutely amazing. The sequel, I think Fury. Oh, Mad Max Fury Road was my favorite chase. Yeah, a lot of people like
everything in Mad Max. Furiosa is a bloody chase film. I mean, they all are, aren't they? I mean, is Thunderdome got a lot of chase? definitely the second one. Mad Max 2 used to be my favorite Mad Max film, right? I think it's because I watched it at a time where this razor boomerang that one of the punks threw, and it chopped his fingers off when he tried to catch it. It's stuck in my brain as a young teenager, and I was going, "What a film this is!" You got a little kiddie in it, right? And you got this bloke throwing razor boomerangs and stuff. This is great stuff. And of course, you're thinking, the daft bastard, right? It's going to fly back, isn't it? At you. It's a boomerang, isn't it? Jesus, right? Of course, it's going to chop your bloody fingers off, you stupid sob. You know, you're thinking, how thick are you? Razor boomerangs. Yeah, mental.
Directed by Peter Yates, James, the same director as Bullet, extended chasing involving a police jag chasing robbers, also in a jag. All right, yes. Put your funds up there.
I'll tell you what, here's a chase scene. Carry on Cabby at the end.
Oh, Carry On Cabby, yeah.
Right? Nobody talks about that, do they? Everybody in a cab is trying to find out where Sid James Misses is in glam cabs. And they're all got all the cabs out, trying to cordon them off, going down parkways and all that sort of stuff.
I would put that in terms of my Carry On film listing, possibly my second or third favorite Carry On film.
Love Carry On Cabby.
I love Carry On Cabby.
It's got one of the catchiest music scores in it.
It's just a great film.
They use the music from Carry On Cabby in quite a few motifs in other Carry On films.
It feels to me a bit fresher than some of the films the Carry On films became. I do like Carry On films. I really enjoy them, but they got so formulaistic at certain times. You knew what you were getting, which I suppose wasn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
I love Carry On Camp. Well, everybody says Carry On Camping. You can't help but love Carry On Camping. But Carry On Cabby, I think, is great. I love Hattie Jakes in Carry On Cabby. Really good. Absolutely.
You've got everybody there. You got Pipe Pop Pete. You got also he's going out in Best One and all this sort of stuff.
It's great. It's a great one. It's probably one of the best black and white ones. Definitely. Yeah. Born Identity and even Apocalypto. Yes, that's what you mentioned earlier. Apocalypto, love it. A great chasers on foot. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? I've only watched Apocalypto once.
Oh yeah, it's a great film.
Do you think I ought to watch it again?
Yeah. If you can do,
Mel Gibson directed that.
He directed it. It's brilliant. I love it. I think it's original. It feels original.
I tell you what, it's that film and Last Temptation of Christ I've only watched once.
Do you know, that's one film I've got to get in my collection. I really want to get Last Temptation of Christ to see
I've only seen them once, and I don't know why. It's like, well, they were good films. I enjoyed them, and I've only watched it.
To see what all fuss was about with Last Temptation of Christ. What was that?
It's got the word Christ in it. That's all you had to have, I think.
I know it's something to do. The fact is that he look back as Jesus having a family or something, or as what is it's something like that, which got them all.
I just think this. I know it will be, like stuff in the film, but if you put anything religious at the beginning in a film at the front, it's going to cause problems. You put the word Christ or you put Jesus on the front, right?
Yeah, I know that word.
You got every priest and everybody all that suddenly, oh, hang on, there's a new film that's got the word Jesus in it, right?
Yeah.
And they're all watching it in the Vatican or something, and they're going, it's all right. It was just a word on the front. It's nothing to do with Jesus.
Yeah.
That's how I think it works.
Yeah. What about the Mel Gibson one? I've forgotten what it's called. The one where Jesus, it's almost like a horror. The way he shows how Jesus been beaten up and suffering. I know he did it on purpose. Well, I forgot what's that one called.
Is that where he put the thorns on his head and beat him up?
It's really quite brutal. It's a brutal film, but I understand why he did it. I think he wanted. He probably thought that you should show the suffering a lot stronger than it does in a lot of other films where it doesn't look as bad. Yeah. And he was quite brutal with it. It's a good film, and I must remember where it is. Right, the car chase from Raid 2 is special. Oh yes, that is pretty good. Yeah, yes.
Is the Top Gun films considered a chase?
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, airplanes.
When you consider all of those, when you consider all of those planes in Maverick, Jesus Christ, right? I mean, they're going down all of these. Between these two mountain points, and there's jets behind them firing missiles and all that sort of stuff. Firefox, what a chase film that is!
Yeah,
when he actually nicks the prototype rocket from the Russians, has to fly that back. That's a chase.
And what about this one? And what about Spielberg's Jewel?
Yeah,
that's a massive chase film.
Do you know what? The amount this was back in the day. The amount when that was first announced as being a 4K film, I went, "Oh, day one purchase, purchase."
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, I need that.
What a film! Yeah, absolutely. And then agreed. So good shout. Johnny says, "I've seen Ronin on TV. There's that De Niro, isn't it? Years ago. Remember the car chase seemed to last a long time." Oh. Right. I've not seen Ronin for ages. I can't remember much of it. And De Niro, I know that much. What about Jaws? Oh, yeah. Why do you class that as a chase film? Since the shark chases the orca for the last third of the film. That's a good point. That's a good way of looking at it.
Is actually the film Orca a chase film? Because Richard Harris, is it Richard Harris? I think it's Richard Harris.
Yeah,
who kills the original whale, and then the
upset whale
is chasing after him for the rest of the bloody film.
Yeah. But I like everybody's thinking. You're thinking more outside the box. When you mention start you chase, you're thinking, oh, car chasers. But it's much, much more than that. Brilliant. Absolutely.
I'm gonna make a new film, right? Right? It's Tony York running after the postman to say, "You forgot this DVD before I've got to put it in this box," right? And we'll call it Tony York's Chase. Tony York's Chase, right? And he's got to put this tape in this box, and he's missed to put it in, and he's rushing to before it actually reaches his end destination, which is Ian Hill, the Rambling's house.
Oh dear!
My student film. I'll make it by next week.
Now, just before we go on any further, as we will, I'd always like to say that please subscribe to Delboy's channel. I put the link, if you're new here, I put the link in the description. So if you click that, you can go over and subscribe to his channel. It's a great channel. He's well known for doing this blog, which is absolutely fantastic. He does this blog, and it really is. It's a really great blog. But he does other things, like he's done very recently a trading card video. I absolutely loved it. But he does all sorts of things. So go and have a look at his channel. And I say, I put the description in and subscribe, please. Yeah, that'd be great. Anybody new who hasn't subscribed?
That's very decent. That's very decent of you. I mean, we've got a mutual appreciation of each other, to be quite honest, Ian. I mean, I'm forever saying the same thing in my blogs about your channel. I just want to say, look, there's some other people in this room that have got equally great channels. There's Jim Jam, there's Muckman Movies. Please go and look for them. They've got some absolutely outstanding. I'll tell you what, I recently watched Muckman's movie on Asian films, right? I learned so much. 25 films, right? I'll tell you what, I knew 2 of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All you can get by the only thing that you can lose, right, is time. right? When you go to watch something, the only thing that you lose is time. It doesn't cost you a penny, right?
Yeah.
I tell you what, the best thing that you can do for any of us is a like.
Yeah.
Right? When subs are nice, but the best thing that you could ever do to anybody is just turn around and say, I like your work, like.
Yeah.
Bang on.
Yeah, and just another mention again, Steve's Gaming. If you haven't subscribed to him, please subscribe to him.
Steve's Gaming.
Yeah,
it's called.
Yeah,
he's lost 3 years of his life.
Yeah,
basically, in one instance.
Yeah. So, yeah. So everybody subscribe to anybody that's got a channel on here. Please subscribe to them if you haven't already.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Unless your name's Tony York, you can go do one. Right.
Poor Tony. Oh, dear.
I'm only joking.
Cy Robson, Danny and Jack in the snowy maze in The Shining.
Oh, wow.
That is great on the edge of your seat chest. It is. It is brilliant.
He's that little lad. He's forever looking backwards, and you're just going, shit.
Wow, that is a great one. I've not thought of that one at all, but that is a great chase.
If somebody mentions Condor Man, you can sod off. You're banned.
Let's see. Here we have definitely worth seeing Final Reckoning on IMAX for the action sequences alone.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Absolute brilliant. So I says, I totally agree with that, Muckman. I watched it on IMAX. It was awesome. Brilliant. Muckman says, Tom Cruise's Edge of Tomorrow was a huge flop.
Yeah, it was.
Started to develop a cult following. It's one of my favorite sci-fi films of all time. Again, that's a great example.
It's amazing. Yeah. I went to the pictures to see that and loved it. I saw all the reviews and they all turned around and said the same thing, which was the aliens were a bit generic, right? They didn't say anything bad. They just said the aliens at the end were a bit generic. And then you saw the figures come in and you went, oh, that's the end of that then.
Yeah.
And then it came out on video and wow.
Yeah.
Lots of people bought it. It's a science fiction Groundhog Day. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
It's one of my best deluxe cover boxes as well. I've got a Titans of Cult or some type of deluxe box of that. It comes in a Perspex box. Absolutely gorgeous film. Love it.
Sai says, I'm going to watch most of the summer movies on IMAX. F1, Superman, and Fantastic Four. Yeah, they're all due out, getting nearer, I think, for release.
And they're all been. I mean, I tell you what, the fight between Fantastic Four and Superman has already started on YouTube. They're all turning around and saying they're both out the same month. Wow. Which one's gonna be the first one to reach 1 billion?
Wow.
It's all hype.
Overhyped.
It's all hype.
Yeah.
But this is YouTube hype. Remember, I talked about this the other day. I said, who hypes these things? It's not Simon Mayo anymore, and it's not Film 97 or whatever it is anymore. Yeah. It's all YouTube that hype these things.
Yeah.
For me, all I want is the cinema to succeed. If you go and you watch any of those films and they're entertaining, brilliant.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not a big DC fan, but I tell you what, I'm interested to know how Superman is. The thing that alienates me with Superman is the dog. I'm sorry, but I just do not want to know that Superman's got a little white terrier that flies around with a cape. I'm sorry.
It's a bit cringe. It's cringe.
It's not interested.
Yeah.
And I don't like films that go against canon, where in one Superman film he killed. Superman does not kill.
No.
Right? It's as simple as that. I don't like stuff that goes against what I know. So Fantastic Four is going to be an interesting one. Okay. You might turn around and say you're biased. I bet you any money that Fantastic Four is your one that you want to win or succeed. Not at all. This Fantastic Four is written in another universe. It's not even written in the Fantastic Four world that I grew up in the comics. Right? It's in a total universe. The Silver Surfer's a woman in this one.
Yeah.
Right? It's supposed to be able to tell the story in a certain style of the 60s because they're going to end up in our own world. And that's when it will be them in our world, right? Then it will be like the comic books. Everything, therefore, you're going to watch in this film is going to be fun because you can write whatever you want and not hurt anybody because you can always just turn around and say, hey, it's not our universe, right? This is a totally rewritten, whatever it is. Have a go at us when we get to the real world, right? But Superman and the dog, that dog's been around since the 50s and 60s, and I know that. But I never bought Crypto the Dog comic. Sorry, don't read that. Right? I never bought Supergirl much either. Right? Weren't really interested. And what's his name? The photographer Olsen. What's his name? Who used to follow Superman around? He was a cameraman. I forgot what his name was.
Yeah.
I never bought any of those DC comics because I was only interested in the main character, Batman. I was never really interested in Robin. I didn't care that Robin's separated and called himself Nightwing. I was never interested. I just wanted to know about Batman and his utility belt and whether he had shark repellent bat spray on him or not. Right? That's all. That's it. Jimmy Olsen. Somebody's just mentioned it. So all I'm saying is I don't want spin-off films called Jimmy Olsen. I don't want Crypto Dog films and all of that sort of stuff. But this dog, and I know I'm fixating on it, he's only in it probably for 2 minutes. But all I'm saying is I know full well that they'll bring out a character in a blister pack of Crypto the dog, and there'll be loads of kids that will be buying a little figurine of Crypto the dog because that's what it's there for. It's for merchandise. That's the reason the dog's there.
Yeah.
Anything with a Superman symbol is going to be out there. Trading cards, books, comic books, records, little figures,
Funko Pop.
And they're all going to have this dog in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just going to go,
yeah.
I mean,
and Steve's Gamer said, a bit of a typo. It should have been, I'm a bit of. Sorry, typo. That's all right. No problem. Just remembered, Edward Fox appears in The Go-Between. Oh, yes, you're right. It's a great film. That would be the second best for me after Jackal.
Oh, I mentioned the Jackal.
Yeah. There's a lot of positive talk that the Oscars are going to introduce a Best Stunt Award.
Look, I tell you what, about bloody time. You think how many stunts there have been in 100 years of cinema?
Yeah.
About time. Yeah. I think that ought to be there.
Yeah. Oh, Tony Mason's got Tony York has got my thing. James Mason was the landowner, hosting the shooting party, and I think it was one of his last films. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Thanks for that. Anyhow, and I watched quite a few films this week: Hellboy, The Crooked Man, Mission Impossible Dead, and Final Reckoning, The Chaser, Violent Cop, and Burning Paradise. Yeah, The Chaser. You messaged me on that, and I looked it up on a DVD, and it was quite cheap. So I've ordered it, and hopefully that's coming. Should be coming soon.
Thanks, Buckman for Movies, for messaging me to tell me about The Chaser, you bastard. Why do I only know about it when the rest of the bloody world knows about it? Why is all this? Is it? Oh, let's torture Dell every week.
Yeah.
And everybody messaging everybody but me. Is it, just to show that I'm Billy No Mates. Is that what it's all about? You know, I'm only kidding, by the way.
Now, Muckman says here, bring back your film reviews, Ian. I will definitely watch your Train to Busan review. I know, I just haven't, I don't know.
Oh, by the way, Ian, how are you feeling at the moment? Are you feeling better?
I'm okay. I'm getting through it.
Is this cheered you up? No end.
Yeah, I think it helps a lot. And
it cheers me up.
Yeah, it took a lot. I took quite a few painkillers, so before I came on. So I think
I'll tell you what, the best way to start this stream, knowing that Muckman Movies is coming on, is to take painkillers.
Yeah. Oh,
knowing Tony York is going to be in the background, I have to take painkillers. Right, it's the only way I'll get through.
Oh dear! I'm getting told off about my channel here. Jamie says, I'm not much of a Doctor Who or Star Trek fan, so you're not catering for my needs, Ian. Oh damn! Well, I'll say I might bring some film reviews back. I just wanted a rest from them because I don't know. And sometimes you just feel you want a rest from doing some things, and but I might bring some back. I nearly did one, I must admit, on Train to Busan. I was so enthusiastic. I should have perhaps done it when I was in that up mode. That might be the best thing to do it. But yeah, I'm not ruling out. I might do some, again, if I get enthused by a film. Because I always say, I know that it's controversial, but I never see the point of reviewing a film that I don't like. And you see people that spend ages doing a review, just slagging it off of a film they don't like. Why? Why bother? So if I do a film review, I want to be positive. And Train to Busan is definitely the kind of film that I would be enthusiastic about. But I don't know. I wanted to change, and I think it hasn't gone. I think I'll bring it back. Sometimes on your channel, you kind of think, oh, I need to just concentrate on certain things and then just stick with that, even though not that again, you see, in a way I'm a bit selfish. I just kind of do the channel for things that I like, and Doctor Who and the X-Files are just staple things that I've really enjoyed doing, more from a personal viewpoint of what, it gives me the excuse to watch these wonderful series as that normally I might not normally do, and I love all these series. So it's a good excuse to have those as regular reviews. But I get where you're coming from, and I will try maybe and do some more of my more normal film reviews. They aren't gone. I definitely think there will be more in the future, and that is a perfect film for me to do. So I may have a go at that. But I never want to feel my channel is getting stale, though it might be. People think, oh, he's just doing the same predictable stuff. But I know this sounds on YouTube, this is a crazy thing, but I actually do the channel because I enjoy it, and it's for myself. And I have got other people, and I do try and, I got subscribers, and I will try and do what they like. But ultimately, it is for myself. I'm not trying to gain loads of, money or whatever by doing it. I just do work on what I do,
I subbed to you, Ian, because I thought you were the shopping channel for Tony York Corporation. Sorry.
The humor as well, yeah.
I thought it was the shopping channel for Tony York. Sorry, I'm still waiting for my catalogue to come from Tony York so that I can start buying stuff from him. Yeah.
But Jamie, I may well. I don't think it's the end of my film reviews. I think I may well do. And the thing about a film like Busan is I can bring it out and do it again. Just another excuse maybe to watch it and get enthused by having watched it again. And do it.
Nobody actually asked me that question, but I have to turn around and have to sort of like sympathize a little bit with Ian. Now, things have happened in my life that I never would have thought would have happened, which is my mum collapsing and my heart attack last year and all of that sort of stuff. And they do stop you dead in regards to what you can do, because some things you can do in minutes and other things take you weeks. I stopped actually doing films for a big chunk of time, film reviews, which I love doing, by the way, big chunks of time, because of the feedback that I was getting. And it seemed very much like people did not want me to be part of the film group. They did not want me in chat rooms about films. They did not want me talking about films. They did not want, in other words, go back to gaming. Don't want you with us. And I felt that loud and clear. And I thought to myself, do I stop doing it? And it takes a big person to give you the gumption to actually do another film review with that. So Ian helped me out, and he brought me on to here, and I start talking about films. Pete was very good. I started going on there, and I started to talk about films on there. And slowly and surely, Muckman sort of promoted my ability to say, do a film review, and Seven Samurai will probably be the first one that will come out, which will be about films. And I'm testing the water a little bit. But we lose the fact that what we do on YouTube is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be something that, I'm dreading getting up in the morning tomorrow because I've got to do this research on this video that I've got to be doing and all of this sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was never in that position. I was always in the position of, I don't want to do all that work just for somebody to thumb it down and say, you don't know nothing, you bastard, just because they want to be mean. Right? A lot of effort goes into everything, and you can always get one little bit wrong and all of that sort of stuff. But if you've got negativity going on in your background in your life, and then you get negativity going on your one outlet, which is YouTube, then basically you just think to yourself, what's the whole point? If you take away the purpose, I said once in my YouTube blog, I used to say, the one thing that we need in life is the need to be wanted. Right? You take away the need to be wanted, and you'll be second guessing what's the need of you being around at all. Right? Nobody wants jubilation all 100% of the time, but we do like the odd pat on the back. You know what I mean? Right? You don't get that little pat on the back, then basically you just think it was okay. Right? You get a pat on the back, you think that was good work. Great. Encourages you to do more. You get people that come along and just want to turn a good day into a bad day. And if you're in a bad place as well, then basically you just think, not worth this anymore. And it was people like Muckman and Cy Robson and Ian and Pete, and all of those that turned around and said, Sodom, do what you want. Always do what you want to do. Right? And I will be doing film stuff. It's taken me a bit of time and a bit of trepidation because I just don't want the hassle. So, thank you, Muckman. If anybody wants to actually say why it was bad, you just go to Muckman Movies and you say, what did you encourage Delboy to bring that out for, you bastard? They can draw all their attention to him and send all the trolls over there if you want. No, any joking. That was just my little joke. But I have to turn around and say it is quite true that it's an emotional thing, YouTube. It can be your biggest high of the week one week, and it can be your biggest low the next week. Do you know what I mean? Me, I just do it for fun, and I love having a joke with Muckman and Cy and Tony. To me, Wednesday's probably my best day. I love Wednesdays. I look forward to Wednesdays. Wednesday's my favorite day. You'd think it'd be the weekend, but I tell you what, Wednesday night is the night where when my mum's gone to bed, I can come on here and talk about anything I want. Anything I want.
Yeah.
I could talk about how my can of Coke's gone flat if I want. You know what I mean? There's no rules. It's brilliant. Love it. That's why it says ask us anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why is your hair looking so shit tonight, Del? You know, whatever you want. Why haven't you shaved tonight, you bastard? Beard. And I'm not talking about your beard. I'm talking about your head. Right? Anything you want. That's what Ask Us Anything's all about. Why is it that Marmite is so is so? Everybody turns around and says it's so Marmite. Where did that expression come from?
Yeah.
Right. Ask Us Anything. That's what it's all about. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, I have a certain schedule that I do with my YouTube channel, and then it's flexible within that. But my schedule is always Saturday is the day that I record, research Doctor Who, and X-Files. They're the two that are my weekly series. So I do all them. I spend all of Saturday really doing all that. And then I look at my shorts and see, do they need filling up? Sometimes they don't. I like to do a big bunch of shorts. The idea of my shorts is that at least there's some content every day for somebody. And then I've got my staple ones, which is Doctor Who and the X-Files. But I mean, I do them because I love those series. It's, you know, and I know not everybody feels quite as passionate about those series, but for me, they're a big part of my life. So that's what I mean about the channel. I do it for myself in that ways. I just want to show you what I love and what I am. But I do like to show that I do love films as well. And it's sometimes I think, you know, I don't feel I want to do a review, but maybe I should. Sometimes I just perhaps need to do a review. It's how it goes. It's how you feel. But I never want to feel like a slave to my channel, and I also never want to feel that it's not fun. It's got to be fun what I'm doing, and it still is. I mean, to me, the best parts of my channel are doing those regular videos that I say, which is X-Files and Doctor Who, and the live. I mean, the live is very much one of my highlights of the week. And yes, and I've got that flexibility. I can put film reviews in, and I will. It's not like I'm never going to do any. And, you know, it just happens. Sometimes I will do one. So don't worry, Jamie. I'm trying to do best I can. I know you're joking. I know you're having a joke about that, but they are the priorities for me always. They come out. They're a staple of the channel every week. But I want, you know, I mean, it's called the Ramblings. That's why I've tried to do other things. Like I did my sticker book collections. I've tried to look at other aspects of collecting, and
I reckon it's my fault that he's done the sticker book
but you see what I mean?
Bloody trading cards.
My channel is not called Ian Hill the movie channel or anything like that.
This is the
I've
thing.
called it Ian Hill the Ramblings because it's me just going on about what I enjoy doing.
I called mine the Retro Zone.
Yes,
because it was supposed to be historic and the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Right? That's what that's what the Retro Zone, Twilight Zone. Do you see what I'm talking about? Twilight Zone is my favorite show.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Twilight Zone. Rod Serling, anything about Rod Serling, I know quite a lot about it. You know, as much as you turn around and say, I know an awful lot about Elton John, right? I tell you what, there's a guy out there, he'd whip me up he would beat me around my room, around my garden, right? He knows everything, right?
Yeah.
I ain't that much of a fan, right? I followed him since I started to learn about piano, but I don't know that. I don't know what chord progressions he's using.
Actually, there's a funny scene in IT Crowd which made me laugh. It's when an Elton John impersonator comes in, and it made me think of you. And everybody's looking around at first saying, "Is it Elton John?" And it's an impersonator. It was so funny, and the song that he was singing was just perfect. It was like in the style of Elton John. It was just spot on, this impersonator. I loved it. But there you are.
I just want to, because we've actually avoided, haven't we, talking about negativity for a long time, because I've been saying I'm full on positive.
Yeah.
This is the thing. If anybody can understand this from my point of view, I'll do a 2.5 hour blog, right? I'll put it up. Within 2 minutes, the very first comment, the very first thing that will come through will be a thumbs down.
Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah.
2.5 minutes, thumbs down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it'll be the only one. And then everything after that, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And I watch it go from 50% to 60 to 75 to 85, building it up all the way. And it's just that somebody thinks that thumbs down upsets me. Right. And I can tell you now, about 1.5 years ago, it did. What was that about?
Yeah.
Right now, I just go, how can you thumb down something in 2.5 minutes? All I've said in 2.5 minutes is friends, family, and keepers of the faith. Here's what was my blog in 2.5 minutes.
That's true. That's a good logic. I like it. Yeah.
So basically, that is something that used to get to me and doesn't anymore.
Yeah.
Doesn't anymore. Yeah. But it's just, I look at that and go, somebody's petty, saw something come up in their alerts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then gone straight there and done that because they think it antagonizes me.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
All I know is I get so much pleasure because when I look in 2 hours' time, I see something go from 50% up to 60 to 70 to 80, and it's going up to 90 something, and I'm going, bloody hell.
Yes, exactly.
Back up to 96%, bloody hell.
Yeah.
If you got 96% every week as a quiz review, in your report, you'd be ecstatic, right? Nobody is perfect, right?
Yeah.
If you've got 100%, not enough people have watched it.
Yeah.
You've got to have some negativity.
Yeah.
So I look at life like that now.
Yeah. You've got to turn negatives almost into positives.
Yeah. And I told you at the very beginning of this year, I said, I am not going to look at YouTube's instant negativity on something that's not even out in the next 5 months.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I will watch it, then I will give my opinion of it.
Yeah. But it's what actually there are YouTubers who almost make a living of what they do on YouTube out of being negative because they think if they do a controversial video that's all negative, they're going to get loads of views, and they might well do. But what is the point? All they're doing is just for views and probably to make money if they're monetized. That's all the reason they're doing it. So why bother watching something like that?
Actually, somebody said to me the other day, by the way, this is just to end it all because I don't want to talk about it anymore. It doesn't aggravate me. They don't aggravate me or anything like that. Somebody said the other day, maybe the person that puts the thumbs down is because it goes to Russia and you're talking about the war.
Ah, interesting. Yeah. Yeah. That is a good point.
And I just turned around to that and I went, yeah.
Yeah.
Could be. But I also put at the beginning, there's the news that is just a date stamp.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I also said right at the beginning of my blog that the war would be mentioned every week until the war ends.
Yeah. And you always say, and all we want is
what tends to happen is a war will start, and 10 years later, the news is never even talking about it anymore because nothing is going on until somebody in Britain dies or somebody in America dies there or something, right?
Yeah.
Right. I said I would keep it in the news till it ends.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was the worst decision I made. I will say this because it's been going on now about 3 or 4 years, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that it would be gone in a year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I could date stamp now the whole war through that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The whole thing based on my blog started 2 weeks before the war began. 2 weeks.
I think you could argue that a lot of people have probably forgotten that is going on.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make mainstream news that much, does it? It's something that it's going on somewhere. Even when something quite relatively big happens, it doesn't make the headlines like it would have done when it first started.
Yeah,
it was
all over the news. It was there on the front papers. It was there for 2 or 3 weeks. After a while, it suddenly went to the second and third pages to the end of where, unless something happened, like Trump is now new prime minister, and then suddenly it's in the foresight again. It's suddenly on the front pages again. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, people were getting to the point where, how are we going to extend this story? Because it was dying. I know, we'll send a reporter to Ukrainian army and be on the front line there. But that is just sort of one of those stories that they put in to fill, and eventually even those die. So the journalistic interest just tapers out. I mean, that's how it is. I suspect now BBC are hardly covering it.
Which is why I like it when I get to the UK news, because then it's all about Sunderland is now in the Premiership. I can put Eurovision Song Contest, Britain came 19th. I could mention that George Wendt died and what a sad thing that was. And how I remember how watching that show and everybody saying Norm and all of this sort of stuff in tears. That's the fun bit for me, date stamping it. I can't wait till that first bit. I could just chuck away and it'll all be, here's the date stamp of the news, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know?
And all the horrific things. I know this sounds awful, but we don't really want to know about them or dwell on them too much. I mean, there is some horrific things that happen. It's better not to. People say, but why? But you know what? We can't achieve or do anything with that. They're just there, unfortunately, in life.
Me, I love everybody. Just so you know, I love everyone.
Yeah,
all the people that even might have something negative to say, but I'll say, you know what, you're probably right.
Yeah,
I'm not infallible.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're all humans.
I'll put my hands up when I'm in the wrong.
Yeah, but and also it's I know this sounds, it's obvious. Oh, we're doing that is because we enjoy doing it. It's a bit of fun. It's something that we enjoy doing. It's not a matter of life or death. It's just talking about this and that, you know. That's all it is, and we enjoy doing it. Just had Northwest Frontier is set mainly on a steam train, and oh yes, I should have thought of that film because I've watched that one. It is,
Don't encourage him to give me more train questions. I don't want more train questions next week in my blog. Thank you very much. Jesus Christ, you're giving him. All you're doing is giving him ammunition to make my whole thing about bloody. I'll be talking about Thomas the Tank Engine by the end of the month. Jesus.
I must admit, when I was giving that question, I thought, I bet he won't give many. Let me see what he's going to give. I was trying to guess. I thought he'll say Railway Children, which he did, which I thought that, and then I was trying to think, what else will he say? It was interesting.
Was I all right?
Yeah, you did
was
well.
I all right?
Yeah, especially as you said, you know, you have that moment, and they have to come out of your brain, and you're thinking, oh God.
Let me think. You know, let me think. I would have said because I haven't seen my blogs. Let me have a think. Taking a Pelham 123 would have been there. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to put
the great train robbery, was that there?
Yeah. I think the last great train robbery. I think you did the Sean Connery one. Is that the first one? Yeah.
Horror Express, was that there? Horror Express.
I think you put Horror Express. Yeah.
See, straight away, there are things that are out of my brain. I wouldn't remember these if it weren't for the fact I've seen these films and I like them.
Yeah. See, they did come out. You got something out, which is great. I thought I like to sometimes just see what you can dig out. You know, and I'm a bit of a sod sometimes. I try and ask easy questions, but then sometimes I think, oh, go on, I'll give him a question.
I like ones that make me think. I mean, I don't want ones that make me look like a right idiot. But but those do come out.
Yeah, well, sometimes you can ask more friendlier questions, which I know you have a good answer for. It depends how I'm feeling, how much of a sod I want to be. It's like I could ask, probably an Elton John. Oh, what are your top 5 favorite Elton John albums? And something like that. They're easier, maybe, or not so easy.
By the way, have you listened to Made in England yet?
Yeah.
Have you listened to Made in England yet?
No, I haven't, and I've got it. I've got to.
You miserable bastard.
No, honestly, I would have. I've not had a good week, and I've not been feeling as well. So music, it's in there in my collection.
Do not ever turn around and say, "Oh, little boy music. You don't listen to music, Delboy." All this sort of stuff. When you've got an album and you ain't even watched it and you ain't even listened to it yet.
But what I've done, I've changed the case for it. I got one of my cases out and in a case. So it's there to watch. Don't worry. I will watch.
You're going to watch it? It's a bloody CD.
Well, I watched.
You ain't going to get much out of it. It's a CD, mate.
Well, I can watch the CD going round.
Watch it spin round if you want. You get a bit giddy.
Oh dear. Anyhow, let's go. Right. James says, favorite film centered around music. 2 of my favorites, Almost Famous and High Fidelity.
Oh,
it's quite a lot, I think.
See, a lot of people would say Rock School, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I personally, the very first thing I saw about music, by the way, was the Jolson story.
Yeah.
Right. And it wasn't too long before I saw things about Glenn Miller, because it was James Stewart.
The Glenn Miller story.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I saw things about the industry, because you can watch films and it could be about the industry rather than about individuals. I love the film Ray because it was about Ray Charles. And I thought, what a great film that was. And I even saw the very early Elvis film that what's his name? Russell.
Oh, Russell. Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell was in.
Yeah.
Right. I even saw that. I loved all of that. But this one says centered around music. So this says centered around music, and I take it that basically means like Almost Famous and High Fidelity. Almost Famous, is a music journalist thing, isn't it? High Fidelity being about, I can't think of how many
people might be thinking, what about the Elton John biopic?
Yeah, Rocket Man.
Yeah, I might think that one.
But I must admit, I much prefer films centered around music that are documentaries than they are films. Right? I much prefer a documentary that would be about, how Capitol Music was in the 60s or something.
Yeah.
Or all about Tennessee and the country and western scene. How country and western fell out of favor and then came back into favor, and all of that sort of stuff. I'd rather a documentary than a film about
BBC 4. Do a lot of really good documentaries.
And remember, I turned around and I said on Fridays I watch BBC 4 and they do the top of the pop decades, and then they do these little old grey whistle test things.
Grey whistle test, fantastic. Yeah. And they've done good documentary series on various people.
I even learn about the music by the little bubble writing that they put when they put Top of the Pops 2 on, when they say this came out in 1977.
Yes, I do, and then it'll say what happened to him.
And it'll say the lead singer of this went on to be went on to join this band.
And then became a milkman, and he's still working. it's so and so.
He now runs a little coffee shop in the Coventry City Road in London or something. Oh, right. So I really can't answer it. I'll let you answer it, Ian.
Okay, music related films are quite. I think for me, Amadeus. I think
brilliant,
fantastic film.
What a selection! Yeah,
and also I'll tell you what I like. There's two of them together, which is That'll Be the Day and Stardust. Stardust, you could say, is more about the music business and would film. I mean, basically, Stardust is like it's based on almost the Beatles and then changed round a bit to what happens to him in his downfall when he becomes out of touch and what have you with drugs and what have you. But I think it's good to see them both together because That'll Be the Day is how he comes in it. And because Ringo stars in That'll Be the Day. And they're really good two films to watch together. So I would rate them. And of course, Oliver Stone's The Doors. If you're interested in Jim Morrison,
oh Christ,
you've got to look and put that one there for me. Definitely. I mean, The Doors is a fantastic film, and I love their music. I've got all their albums, and I love The Doors. They're a great band. But that film is fascinating film. I mean, you can say, and I'm not afraid to say it, that sometimes Jim Morrison was a bit of an arsehole.
Yeah,
he really was. And you could say that it perhaps was too drugged out and pretentious into things. But even within that, he still was great. There were some great performances and some great lyrics and stuff that he did. But the other members contributed equally, though sadly, when he died, they couldn't do it as a group just on their own. They didn't have him as the focus. But without the musicians, Jim Morrison wouldn't have been what he is. So they're both welded well together. But I can imagine Jim Morrison being a real pain to work with. Apparently, the drugs.
Well, I'll be very quick with my answer. You can carry on if you want, but I'll say, I mentioned like where I started from with the Jolson story and the Glenn Miller.
Yeah.
Ray probably topped it off for me in regards to a character like Ray is so multi-layered that I love that. And he didn't come across as nasty, and he didn't come across as a total bastard either. You could just see how drugs really pissed him about. Which it does. You mentioned Amadeus. I'm going to follow that up with a film that people might not know about. It's called Copying Beethoven.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's about the lady that that followed him around transcribing his music later on in life.
That's good. Yeah.
That's why it's called Copying Beethoven. It's not obviously accurate because we don't know who wrote his music down and all of this sort of stuff, ready and all this sort of stuff. But it's just like Amadeus, really. It's period piece, listening to the music. Thinking back to say, oh, was it really like that? Could it have been like that? Beethoven, copying Beethoven, he's a bastard, really.
Yeah.
He's not a likable person at all.
Yeah. Well, look at Mozart. Look at Amadeus. Mozart is a childish, and they can't believe that he wrote all these. An
impetulant child. That
and yet he's writing all this stuff.
Knew he was talented and decided to be a bastard about it.
Yeah.
Sounds like every bloody pop performer now, doesn't it? Really, think about it.
Mind you, that a lot of them probably don't perform now. It's all tuned and lip sync and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but I will say, Almost Famous is one of my favorite films. I've got that on. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's well known for the tiny dancer bit on the bus and the singing and all of that sort of stuff. I mean, it really. I mean, obviously, that is going to be one of my favorites, isn't it? Without John in it and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
I could actually, and I think it is a good film. It's Hard Day's Night, the very first one.
Yeah.
Hard Day's Night. It's the black and white one. It is better than the second one, I think. But it's really good.
Honestly, I'll be 3 minutes, guys. Sorry, I've just got to do something.
It's all right. Yeah. Do you know? It's gone out of my brain. What the second? Oh, Help. That's it. Help. Yeah, Help's okay. Yeah, but I think the feel of A Hard Day's Night is really good. It just captures that period. So that's another good one I can think of that I enjoy. Trying to think anyone. Yeah, and so I like those. That'll be there in Stardust. I quite like the early Elvis films. I know they became very formularized, but King Creole is pretty good. I think King Creole, these early ones, Jailhouse Rock, those early ones have a bit more about them with Elvis, you feel. Whereas when he started producing these more blander ones, Elvis had been sanitized. He wasn't that raw talent that you see very much in his earlier films, which is sad about Elvis because but he was a popular guy. I shouldn't really knock it. Elvis, he did go into all this smolchy stuff, and it was far removed from that early excitement of the original rock and roll era. But I remember the BBC used to show these Elvis films on Saturday, and you just sit down and watch them, and he'd burst into song doing something. But the music it didn't have the rawness of that early Presley stuff. Yeah, he's an interesting career, is Elvis Presley, because he kind of came back. It's sort of, I don't know, around about early 70s. He did a show as well, I remember, I think, which revitalized his career. Sort of in late 60s, I think this show was. And it got full television and exposure. And he was still doing a lot of more. That showed him being able to do the earlier stuff. It wasn't totally the fat, bloated figure that we eventually sadly saw, by his death. If you look at some of the concerts that you see him doing and those end era, I think even on YouTube I've seen the very last concert he did before he died, and he's in a terrible state. He's really sweating hard, and he doesn't look that healthy at all, because we know reasons why he was like that. He was one of those people who probably wouldn't listen to anybody giving him advice and all that sort of stuff. He was an addict to all these things. So it's a bit sad. Same one with Michael Jackson, which again, you hear about Michael Jackson that there is going to be a biopic on him. And I'd be fascinated to see that. Michael Jackson, whatever, I think a lot of that stuff and allegations against him was just allegations. I really do, but that's another story. But there's no denying that he made some great music on that second era that he came with, Thriller and Bad and all that. They were great albums, absolutely outstanding, which today, if people are doing lists of all-time great albums, you'll always find at least a couple of Michael Jackson albums in that. And Thriller, I mean, that video, isn't it? What a video. It's absolutely brilliant. And I can look at Michael Jackson and think, he was extremely talented. There's no denying it. And when he got Quincy Jones with him, Quincy Jones as a producer was a genius.
Oh, yeah.
And they worked together, and look what they produced. Brilliant. Absolutely iconic albums. Anyhow, yeah. So that's me going on. I just said there's a bioc of Michael Jackson coming out. I've been saying that, and I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You're going on. I mean, you could almost turn around and say you were rambling.
Yeah.
I got that. I got that in somehow.
Yeah.
I got that in
I'm
somehow.
keep it going. I was trying to keep it going. Yeah. Right. So Dawn of the Dead is getting a screening at my local independent cinema in July. I've seen it plenty of times on my TV, obviously, but I've never seen it on the big screen. Oh, wow, you're in for a treat. So I can't wait to see it.
Do you know, I really am jealous, of Cy Robson, right? I really, every time I'd say, I just wish I lived in his bloody city, right? Everything's going on in his city. Everything, right? All these great. I wish, next week we got Blade Runner. Oh, have you bastard?
Yeah.
Right? Last time I saw it was like when it was a general release thing. You're gonna get it like, I tell you.
Yeah, I know.
You could be jealous of people sometimes. Piss off. With your Dawn of the Dead, you get.
Yeah. What a trait. Yeah. And then Muckman Movie says, I'm one of the few actually prefers the remake of Dawn of the Dead. The opening sequence had me on the edge of my seat. Well, you can't ask for anything more than that. No. I think the remakes are all right, actually. Yeah, I think the remakes are fine. I agree with the opening scene, McMahon. I just learned not to delete my email account. Yes, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Honestly, guys, Odyssey,
Yeah.
ODYS.
Yeah. Tony, first time watch for me this week of Westworld. Wow, with Yul Brynner. Not bad. Yeah, I'm surprised you're not seeing that, Tony. It's one of those classic.
Yeah, I've got a question for Tony. Are you going to follow it up with Future World?
Yes. Oh, you got to watch Future World. Brilliant. Love them. I love them both, actually.
Westworld to me was one of those films that I saw first on a program on BBC Two called Movie Drone. It was by Alex Cox, right? He showed all these films like Andromeda Strain and a lot of stuff that I didn't know anything about. Phase 4 came from Movie Drone for me. Phase 4, right, with the ants, right? Westworld, I just fell in love with it.
Yeah,
fell in love with that film.
Yeah, I love it. I went to the cinema and saw it there, and then as soon as Future World came, I was straight to the cinema to see that. Brilliant, absolutely incredible films. Future World perhaps gets sort of not looked at as quite as favorably, but I like Future World. I think Future World's a good, enjoyable.
Oh yeah, film. Because I tell you what, Future World's legacy, right? I think is probably all of the films that basically made something about a theme park, like Jurassic Park had a Jurassic. So Jurassic World was the park shut down. We're opening it back up.
Yeah,
and we're gonna do it right this time. Future World was exactly the same. Westworld was a disaster.
Yeah,
they talked about it as you had to get a special train to go there. It was a whole island and everything.
That's right. Yeah.
And then Future World was all the journalists were asked to come back and say, "Look, we're reopening it back up.
Yeah,
look, we've got all of this, but we've also got these extra things going on."
Yeah.
And then instead of the robots deactivated, they got some sort of conscience, didn't they? Is that right?
Yeah.
And they started to bring back. And that's what the basis of the Westworld's TV series was.
Yeah.
So there is even though it's a shitty film compared to Westworld, because it is, it's really two people going around trying to escape.
Yeah.
Right. The journalists that turn up. Right. It has a legacy, like I was trying to explain what was the legacy of the Adventures of films. You know, the Confessions films, didn't I? I said, what is the legacy of the Confessions films? Because everybody turns around and say, wow, how shit they were, but they made millions and millions and millions. What was the legacy? So there is a legacy from a shit film because, like I say, Future World isn't shit, but its legacy is it basically influenced all these other films that basically have done these things, that have started something else. I mean, there's so many films around fairground rides like Roller Coaster and all of this sort of stuff.
Oh, Roller Coaster, excellent.
Great film, future. I mean, Jurassic World really is the sequel to the first Jurassic Park, as far as I'm concerned. Because the rest is like the monsters are running amok. Then it's somebody's landed on the island and we got to rescue them, which is Jurassic World 3, Jurassic Park 3. And then you get to the point where, no, we've actually gone back and we've actually built all around this again, and we're going to do it right this time. That is Future World.
Yeah. That's right.
Simple as that, really.
Right. Sai says, first time. Yeah. I know. Seen bits on TV before, but first time right through. Draw. And then I miss Woolworth's Turkish Delights from Pick and Mix.
Pick and Mix.
Yeah, by heck, lad.
You've got Pick and Mix in Sainsbury's, but it ain't the same.
Nah.
They're still robbing bastards.
Yeah. Lemon or rose Turkish Delight? Lemon for it. Do you know, I didn't know there was a lemon Turkish Delight. I just thought it was Turkish Delight.
I reckon he's been watching a lot of this Black Mirror Twilight Zone stuff. Is there really a lemon and a rose Turkish Delight? I got a funny feeling.
Chocolate coated rose. Yeah. Sorry about the movie, man. Wasn't sure about it. Don't worry, Tony. Don't worry about it.
I'll tell you what. All it did for me with that was just clear the air. Because to be quite honest, I'm not bothered anymore. I'm really not. I've got my mum. I've got my mum who's collapsed on the floor that I look after every day, and I do a YouTube thing to cheer myself up and do stuff. And to be quite honest, I'm fed up with all of the arguments and everything, especially when I kept turning around and saying at the beginning, find a video where I've actually turned around and been nasty to anybody.
Yeah.
I've even turned around and said the good in them.
Yeah.
It's just small-minded shit. So
exactly.
Shit, Tony, I'm afraid.
I've
had a heart attack since then.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. The park scene in Casino Royale is a great chase sequence. It opens up, doesn't it? As I remember, Casino Royale with a massive chase, doesn't it? Right.
Is that the new Casino Royale or the jokey Casino Royale?
The Daniel Craig one. I know I'm not a big fan of Daniel Craig, but
it opens up in black and white and ends up with a big fight in the toilet.
It's a massive. It is a massive chase, as I remember. It must go on for quite a while.
Is that right though? It's black and white at the beginning, isn't it? It ends up in a fight in a toilet. It's supposed to be James Bond's first mission, isn't it? Before he's a 00. Is that right?
He's not got a double. Yeah, you're right, because that's what the film's about, isn't it? Him getting his license.
First 00,
yeah. I mean, I'm not a big Daniel Craig fan, but a lot of people think that's his best, don't they? Casino Royale of the Craig films. Rose Turkish Delight for me, Si. All right. It was the mute kid who threw the boomerang down.
That's right. There's a little kid, and she basically, sorry, I'm saying I can't remember. I've just got her in my head. I can see her, and it was a bloke who's just a hand it goes through. I just remember the fingers being chopped off, and then I remember years later when we were talking about Mad Max in the video library. We were talking about scenes that influenced us and stuff that were. Somebody just happened to turn around and say, that scene was cut. You don't see the fingers being chopped off anymore. And then we used to find a copy on the shelves and then put it on in the store because it was a film that you're not supposed to show in a video store because you're only supposed to watch PG films and below. And he'd get into trouble because he'd go, I'm going to look now. And he'd get the film out the back and put it on and forward it and go, oh, yeah, look, the fingers, they're not there. It's just they cut that bit out. Or, and we used to do that all the time. He used to get into trouble for it. He used to get into trouble for that. It's great.
Right. Passion of Christ is by Mel Gibson. It is. It's The Last Temptation of Christ that I own, which is the Scorsese one.
Yeah.
Passion of the Christ. The Fugitive, of course, I forgot about The Fugitive film. A really good film, actually. I enjoyed it. Harrison Ford version.
Probably more accurate to the TV than most films that have been turned from TV to film, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it's a good film. And it is a good film. It's enjoyable. Yeah, very good.
I used to like Barry Morse in the original Fugitive. I mean, he's great in Space 1999.
Oh.
Watching him in his early career doing something like The Fugitive is quite fun to watch because it's like, oh, you are a different bloke than I thought. Because he used to be the person that people thought that was boring. That's why they got rid of him in the second season. It wasn't that at all. He was ready to go for the second season. They didn't want him around because they wanted to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
But I was Barry Morse in The Fugitive in the original TV series. It was great.
Oh.
And somebody actually made the greatest flattery to me in my last blog. They said, I really loved it when you actually lambasted over the Invaders.
Ah, yeah. The Invaders.
Because I was talking about Quinn Martin and the music.
Yeah, the Quinn Martin production.
That's Dominic Frontier, who did a lot of stuff for Star Trek. And of course, The Outer Limits. The Outer Limits main theme is Dominic Frontier. I mean, I could talk about composers, as you know, for bloody ages, which I won't do. But I love I like Quinn Martin. What a guy Quinn Martin was.
Yeah.
Streets of San Francisco. We ought to have that back.
Yeah, everybody remembers a Quinn Martin production. It was just and on tonight's
all of that act 1, act 2, act 3.
Yeah.
Epilogue. There was always an epilogue.
Did they do on tonight's episode? And you do clips?
Yeah.
Well, they did.
Episode. Starring.
An extra special guest star.
Special guest star. And then it would say, tonight's episode's called Damnation.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, it was actually. It makes you kind of want to watch some, doesn't it? Sometimes.
Well, this is the thing when people talk about Space 1999, about the differences between the first and second season. So I tell you what I loved. They did the introduction of the music, and it was all electric guitar.
Yeah.
And it said in this week's episode, and every shot of it was like all action sequences. You see the people going around in space and floating and all of this, and it was all fast clips of what was in this episode and all of that.
Yeah, that's right. It
didn't do that in the second season. It was just a boring title sequence.
Yeah.
I love that. I wanted to know what this week's episode was about. I was going, I want to watch this now.
Do you know, they don't do that, do they, nowadays? They never do that. No. Actually, that might be wrong. They might say at the end what is going to be in next episode if it's one of these series. They might do.
Yeah.
But they never at the beginning have that bit in this week.
Yeah, can you imagine old Doctor Who with this week's episode and all them clips?
Oh,
wouldn't work, would it? Really?
No. Oh yeah, good one, Tony. That's Fugitive. Might have to chase me video at some point.
You might have to do a chase me video.
Yeah. Well, there's a good idea. We've given you for a video now. Another watch, Play Dirty, 1968. A World War North African desert set starring Michael Caine. Yeah. Wow. Michael Caine. Do you know the amount of films he's appeared in must be absolutely massive of Michael Caine? Absolutely massive.
It does amaze me about youngsters and World War II and all of that sort of stuff. And people say, why was it called World War when it was all set in Europe, right?
No.
And then when you turn around and say, no, there was stuff going on in India and Japan and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then they go, why? And they invaded Japan then? And I tell you what, I like people that ask questions like that, because it's like, it's not a stupid question to ask. It's like, why is Japan in the war? It's like, because they would have joined the war at some point, and basically it was communists, and basically they joined Russia, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
that's when it becomes world.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and people forget even Australia were fighting in the
nobody mentions Australia, do they? Was Australia in the war?
Yeah, Australia, definitely. Muckman, will you chase me video be presented by Duncan
Norville? Chase me. He's dead now, isn't he? He died last year, didn't he, or early this year?
Oh, yeah. That's all he was famous for, was that dreadful things. Yeah. Anyhow.
He was banned from a Lloyd's Bank event I actually went to.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. He was dirty.
Was he? Apparently.
He was filthy, right, that night. He was a bit like if you ever go and watch, what's his name?
Chubby.
No. It's like what do they call him? It'll come to me in a minute. We were talking about him the other day. Of course, Freddie Starr.
Oh yeah, Freddie Starr.
If you saw him on TV, you went, well, he's a bit risque. You saw him live, Jesus
he was
Christ.
Blue, my mum used to say.
Christ. Duncan Norville was on stage, and he invited the managing director's wife up on the stage, right? And she had a short dress on, very short dress on, right?
Yeah.
She had to climb up these steps. And he went down the microphone and he said, that's a funny place to keep a pencil case.
Oh dear.
Jesus Christ. That meant she had a tampon up her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just went, whoa. The whole place went silent.
It was, yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
That's how Duncan Norville was live. Terrible, really. I mean, Chubby Brown is at least you know where you are with Chubby Brown. The same with that country bumpkin one. What's that one?
Jethro.
Yeah.
He says the same kind of jokes. Why you are, and does it it's the same stuff, really.
And for some unknown reason, all of this is bringing back somebody else who was Australian called Kevin Bloody Wilson.
No,
you ever heard of Kevin Bloody Wilson?
No, I don't remember that.
Brought out a load of records like Oi Santa Claus, you cunt, where's my fucking bike? That's one of his tracks.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Yeah.
And I do excuse my language there, but that is the actual name of the track.
Yeah. Pretty bad. Sarah,
Jimmy Olsen,
I'm looking forward to Ballerina. That keeps popping up a bit now. It's the John Wick, isn't it? Spin-off. So at least one person got my reference. There's nothing there. And then Ana de Amas.
Ana de Amas.
Amas. Absolutely, Si. She's gorgeous. Hey up. Be careful. Calm down now. Hey up. Wow. Tony, I thoroughly enjoyed Play Dirty. Great African World War II film. Unfortunate ending, Jamie, at least for Caine. Oh, Michael Caine, yeah. You spoiled that. Spoilers. You don't buy DVDs, Delboy. The Chaser is only available on DVD in the UK. That's what he said to me, yeah.
Hang on a minute. Have you noticed that? It says you don't buy DVDs, Delboy, right? I bought DVDs in Birmingham this weekend. I buy DVDs from charity stores, though.
Yeah, that big box set we saw that you bought, didn't you?
Westworld, £10, 7 seasons.
Yeah, which is pretty good.
It had
pretty good value.
It took the lady half an hour to put the CDs in the box.
She was pleased with you.
And she went, "You bastard."
Yeah, she did.
I turned round to her and I did say, "You know what? I'm not buying it if you can't find one of the CDs."
God, she would have been really bastard. I bet you'd love to have heard her voice. Oh. Oh, I bet she was glad to see you leave. God, really.
Oh yeah. She was putting all of the DVDs in the case and said, "Oh, it says that there's one missing from it." And then she looked, she went, "Oh, it's 5 discs down. It's all right." They were all out of sequence, you see.
Oh yeah. I bet they love it, don't they? Oh dear. Awkward customer. Umbrella released Blu-ray of The Chaser if you want to splash the cash. That's the Australian one, isn't it? It's about 30 odd quid or something like that. I think it's pretty expensive. Sounds as though your subscribers are revolting, Ian, complaining about your content. Yeah, they're revolting. The peasants are revolting. Yes. Oh dear. I buy most DVDs from charity. That's true. Bought West Wing Volume 1/7 for £10 last week in Birmingham. Yeah, we saw the video. I can plug the video. There he is with Denny and Jim Jam going around Birmingham, swanning round. There they are.
It's funny, he put me in a very bad light because he was recording all this stuff.
And it was all the stuff when you were swearing and saying, "You bastard." And
yeah, I weren't like, I hardly said a word, right? All the way through it. And yet every word that was coming out of my mouth was
you swearing.
I mean, I did make some jokes up. They turned around and said, "Yeah, I'm going to have a nice time with my friends." They ain't turned up yet, but they'll be here in a minute.
Oh,
I mean, I did make some little jokes up like that. It's about. He started off with a thing about "I own this street." Do you know what that was? That was me talking about horrible YouTube videos with these auditors going around with copters. These droids. These drone things, right?
Yeah, I've seen them.
They turn around and they say, "I can be here if I want."
Yeah, it's my right.
Authorities.
I couldn't care. It's my right. I'm going to do it if it upsets anybody.
So of course, I did this little rant. And I said, "Get off my street! I'm in the street. You can't do anything here. You can't fly your drone around." I said all this. He recorded that, and he only did 5 seconds of it with me ranting.
Editing. Blame editing.
All out of context, by the way.
Yeah. You ought to have put a comment there on this. What's happened to my rant? Yeah. Yeah.
Shall I tell you? Shall I tell you who one of my? I would just love to meet her, and I tell you what, I'd marry her in a second, and that's Eva Green. Right. Eva Green. Oh
wow. There you are.
I don't know what it is. I've just got a soft spot for Eva Green. Eva Green from Penny Dreadful and the 300 films and Casino Royale, I think. I don't know what it is. I just think she's gorgeous. Something about her.
Wow.
I felt the same way when I in my very early years. Virginia Davis, for some reason, she was in a film called Transylvania 65000. She was dressed up as a vampire.
Yeah.
Gosh, she was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then she was in an alien film with her husband then, Jeff Goldblum. What was it? Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah.
She was in a bikini all the way through that.
Yeah.
I must have watched that loads of times. Davis here. Weird, isn't it? Now we look at things in the past now. Like I say, it's not. To me, it wasn't about the acting potential. It was just like, oh wow, she's gorgeous. I'll just watch it. Just go, yeah, amazing.
Yeah. I was saying with Dinah Rigg. I used to just watch
her. Yeah, Dinah Rigg, you know.
Oh, Dinah Rigg.
With her catsuit on.
And then when she was in Bond film, wow. Oh.
Well, she had a mini skirt on all the way through it, didn't she?
She was great. Happy days. Not literally revolting. No. Actually, I thought you meant that too, Tony. Oh, as if I would. Yeah, I think that. Sodom, Delboy. Just carry on with what you want to do. If you like doing your film reviews, do them. You'll find your audience. Ignore the trolls. That's what I do. Yep, you sell them. That's bloody true. Exactly. Could agree with you more, Jamie. I've had 25k views on my top 25 horror films. Imagine how many trolls I've had in the comments for that video. I just ignore them. I'll tell them to bugger off. I like that. You like my accent then? Bugger off.
But this is where I come across and turn around and say, it sometimes you can have the power to do that in yourself, and some people don't have the confidence. And some people don't want to upset other people, and some people want to be just want to turn somebody's life from a frown to a smile, right? And there are other people that just want to make you frown and turn that smile upside down and cause trouble. And the problem with me is that I am a very low subscriber person. I am a person that's not very confident. I have got a lot of problems and baggage that's going on. And sometimes it can get to the point where you just go, what's the point anymore? You know, if you've got 1,000 views, I'm very happy for you. You know, if you've got 25,000 views, absolutely fantastic. I've never had anything above 300 views ever. And as soon as somebody mentions subscriber, you've reached a certain number, that 5 people leave. You know what I mean? Just to make it nasty for me.
It's horrible.
It's one of those things where it can get to a point. But right now, I've said all I want to say on it. To be quite honest, I love everybody. All my old friends that are not friends with me anymore, I still think you're absolutely wonderful. Do your stuff. I'm doing now stuff that makes me happy and gets me through life, because I tell you what, I've had a heart attack. I've got my mum's problems. My dad died not long ago. Work is not going fantastic. If I lose this, I lose probably part of myself.
Yeah.
And I refuse to let anybody upset me on it.
Exactly.
If I lose that, then I don't know where I'll be.
Yeah. Well,
so I refuse to let anybody make me lose it.
Yeah. Well, I'm always really glad that you enjoy this. It's a great thing for you. You can just relax, enjoy yourself, and for me, that's all I want to see. You know, a good escape for you, and bugger out people who don't like you. Sod off.
Well, like I said, you can't tell who they are, and for all I know, it's somebody that doesn't like me bad mouthing Russia.
Yeah,
for all I know.
It's ridiculous. But hey, let's move on now. Tony's not a fan of some of those big YouTube film channels, but I don't torture myself watching them and then angrily composing a negative comment. Just simply don't watch Grey. Pity the trolls can't learn that. Yeah, I think that's great. Totally. There will always be someone who doesn't agree with you or takes pleasure in being nasty. Best thing to do is not rise to it. Spot on there. Yeah.
Like I said, I'll always turn around and say it's easier said than done. But,
Del, I forgot to ask last week. but did you do the gardening in your fedora? Aha!
Can I tell you what, Si? We took my mum for the first time to the gardening centre today because we've been asking her all week, Mum, do you want to go to the gardening centre, right, to get some flowers? And we finally got her to go to the flowers centre today. She loved every minute. She got very tired very quickly. And she spent over 120 quid on flowers. Oh. And I've got them all in the back garden. And I mowed the lawn today. And I'm ready, all set to get rid of all the old pots.
Yeah.
Put the new peat in and put it all out. And it's very late, but this is why I've got a week off work, you see. I'm off this week.
Fantastic.
I go back to work next Monday. Yeah. And I'm hoping that the weather stays off because we've had 5 weeks of great weather and it's been pissing it down ever since on my week off, which is just about what happens every time I book a holiday. Yeah. You can guarantee it's going to rain. Right, that's what. Yeah. So on the Friday, that's why I was in Birmingham because I was off on the Friday, right?
Yeah.
That's where the stars aligned, and me and Denny could meet up. Jam was brought along.
It was a nice surprise, actually. I thought because you know, that video coming out, I thought brilliant. I'm glad you was able to do that.
My sister turned around and said, "Everybody deserves to have one day off. If you want to go, go.
Yeah."
Have a nice day. I got back at home for 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, I was there from I left home. I left the house at about 8:30. So it was almost it was only like an extra hour for my sister when we worked it out.
So it did it. Perfect. Yeah.
So absolutely. It really wasn't any big problem. But when you think about it, you think to yourself, I'm putting a lot of problems to my sister here because she's got to look after my mum for a long period of time. But actually, I work 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Exactly. When I'm at work, she's doing that. And therefore, she was just at my house for an extra hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out of all of that, just 1 hour.
Yeah. I look at it like this. It was worth it for your health. That's how it is. It's good for you to do that, to be able to have that escape. And as you said before, there's things that you want to do.
The biggest surprise was Jim Jam said, I've got this video for you, Dale. Look, you're going to want to buy this. I'm going to hold it up to you. I'm going to hand it over to you. It's going to be great. And I went, fuck you. And I walked off, right? It was up the elephant around the castle. You're bloody joking.
Yeah, that horrible.
You think I'm having that?
Yeah, that was on the video. I saw that. Yeah.
I turned around and went, you bastard.
Up the elephant and whatever it is.
How they could bring that out on DVD, I don't know. I mean, buy that. I mean, it's absolutely atrocious. There you go.
Jamie says...
To answer your question, I will probably be wearing the Fedora, probably tomorrow.
He said, did you cut the grass down with your whip, Del? Oh.
Yeah, Indiana Jones, isn't it?
Yeah. That's true, Jamie. Most of them are craving attention. Ignoring them is usually the best policy. Always. Jamie says, I agree, Ian. I don't want to be a slave to my YouTube channel. I release my videos when I feel like it rather than sticking to a regime or schedule. Makes it much more pleasurable. You should do anything you do. Just do it because you want to do it and enjoy it.
I have to agree. There has never been a time on a Sunday where I haven't wanted to do my blog, but there could easily be a time when that will happen.
Yeah.
There are times where there is nothing between a blog that I haven't done. Like last week, I did a blog and then there was nothing and then a blog.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was because of work and other things and all this sort of stuff. I'm off work this week and I've done 2 videos already. You know,
I mean, well, there you are. That's good.
You know, it's a simple matter. It's a simple matter that I've just got more time, and I love doing them, and I like mentioning people that have inspired me to make this particular video. I just like doing it. It's just
I do. I enjoy it. I mean, I do it as well. I do organize my channel in a certain way, but I do it so that if I'm not feeling as up to it, I don't have to do any video. So I can
No.
have bits where I don't have to do any, but the channel will still carry on. It doesn't matter. They'll still give somebody some content, no matter how small or rubbish it is.
Tell you what, I wish I was organized as my friend Robert's Gaming, right?
Yeah.
He's an Atari bloke in Canada. I know him very well. He's a brilliant guy.
Yeah.
Robert, right? Friend of Steve's Gaming that we mentioned earlier on, right? I mentioned to him, how do you do your content? And he says he does like you. He records no end, right? And he's got a month's worth of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? To get out there before you even get to what he's doing today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going, I do a recording and it's up in about an hour after me doing it. I ain't got anything. I haven't got anything like 10 videos all recorded ready for me just to do a thumbnail for it, stick it out. Gee, I wish I was like that.
Yeah. Well, I do mine with shorts. I just do shorts. Put a short out. It's not, mind you, I say it's not involved. It does take me a bit even to do a short, but I know they're reliable. I can just put them out. It gives people something to look at and think, oh yeah, that's an interesting film or what have you. And it's content. It just keeps going and something for everybody, that's there, So, because I'm already planning. I'm already thinking, what am I going to do after comedy? Comedy, I've got a long way to go yet. But I'm already thinking, what's the next subject after comedy? And it probably be something like war films or something like that. But you have to think. I'm thinking ahead already because it's a good series.
You could even do epics.
Yeah, I thought of my history thing. I could try and do historical stuff as well, mixed with epics.
Epics,
all sorts. Yeah,
my top five films above an hour and a half.
Yeah, yeah. But what I'm saying is, I enjoy it. It's fun. But if it wasn't fun to do any of these things, then
you could carry that on for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
My top five films below 75 minutes. My top five films with color in the title. I think Christ.
You would find it difficult, though.
You could just go mental with it, couldn't you? Really,
you could. The problem would be, I bet, even if you did it to a particular year from say 1930. I always pick 1930 because it's about the talking era. So even if you go into that, it can be quite difficult, to find five films of that era.
I'll tell you what, if you think researching film is difficult, I'll tell you what, you try doing top 5 science fiction TV from 1950, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
You will tend to find that until you get to 1965 or something, right?
Yeah,
there wasn't any more than 2 science fiction bloody shows in a year.
Yeah.
Right? You can't even do a top 5.
Yeah. Well,
in fact, when the Twilight Zone was on, there was nothing else. That was the science fiction show of that year.
Well, the audiences in that time for TV were pretty small, so they wouldn't have been producing many TV series.
Really, when it gets to TV, you only get more accurate when you get to about 1970.
Yeah.
And it makes it a very short series, 1970 to now.
I must admit, I'm really happy that Hammer are putting out the Quatermass special editions, because it's showing these people that Hammer was a lot more than just the gothic horror. So it's good to show that they did sci-fi. And I'm
still in 2 minds to buy that film Shatter, though.
Oh, Shatter, yeah, I've seen that one just advertised, yeah.
No, it's out. It's been out a long time.
Is it out? Oh, right.
I haven't bought it because it's martial arts.
Well, if it's not your thing, then
No, but if you look at it, it's part of a series, and that means I'll have one that end in the series. And I'm going, bastard, look, I'm a collector. You know, I can't have a gap.
Well, yeah. You see, people will buy all them.
So
Yeah.
I haven't bought that yet, but I've got Kronos, and I've got the
I know.
Final, and I've got Quatermass ordered.
Yeah, yeah.
The only one I haven't got at the moment is that Shatter, and it's pissing me off at the moment because it means I've got to really get that really. And I saw it. I saw it in HMV.
Yeah.
Nearly. But I'll tell you what, I was so upset because I found one of the Dr. Fives and couldn't find the other one.
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't have those. I've got both of them. Yeah.
No, I told you I had it. I had a 2-disc set.
Yeah.
And then scratched.
Oh,
and it was the American double, the dual set, that was in the same case. But over here, you have to buy them individually.
Yeah. Well, what you need to do is the next indicator sale is just go on and buy them. You better pick them up cheap.
They haven't got them in it. They're always out of stock.
Well, on the indicator sale, that's in about is it October, November? There'll be one. I'm sure you'll be able to pick
Dr. Fives is always out. Every time I go to the sale, it'll say sold out.
Well, I'm sure you'll be able to get them. I know. What have you looked on eBay? Just done an eBay search.
Listen, I look for everything on a bloody everywhere. World of Books, Magpie, flipping everything. I do. I even go on Vinted.
Oh yeah, I've never. What is that Vinted? Is it any good? I've never.
No, I'm only joking. Vinted is about. Vinted is
I've
antique.
heard people talk about that. Yeah.
No, Vinted is antique stuff.
Is it? Oh, right.
What I'm trying to say is usually I have to remember it to look.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes I won't even think about Dr. Fives. Yeah. But then when I'm out, I'll go, oh, I remember.
And then never have to. Yeah.
Like that. And then the other thing is, I'm buying it for a second time, and I'm loath to fork out 30 quid for both of them. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
When I've got them already.
Yeah.
It's like that because 30 quid I could get a new film that I ain't got. I've already seen Dr. Fives and the follow-up.
Yeah.
But I know I want them. I need to have them. It's terrible. I know that they're scratched.
Yeah, that'd bother me. I'd have to get them changed. I couldn't.
That's it. You see, it bothers me. That's it.
Yeah, it would me. I'd have to just get them. Yeah, yeah. I'd just try and find them. I'd just think, oh hell, I'll have to pay a bit more. And just have it. It'd bother me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably could wait till it's sale, but if you say they sell out quickly, then you got to get in there early. As soon as you know sales going to start.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there will be one every year. There's one. Well, there's 2 a year, isn't there? 2 indicator sales a year. That just means I get less watchers, likes, and subscribers because my channel slides down people's bar at the top. I don't understand all that. I've not gone into it too much, but YouTube, sometimes they'll push your videos and sometimes they won't. I found that with my shorts. It has come up on recommendations, and then other times it doesn't.
I think what McMahon's saying there is if you go to YouTube Studio, right, and you see all your subscribers, right, if you know that you go to a lot of these and you hit like, right, you'll tend to find all the ones with the likes are at the top and all the ones that you've down the bottom, right, that you haven't been to and liked, right. So what he's basically saying is he's noticed that's what's happening to him, so it must be happening to others. So if you've got a subscriber list, you'll tend to find that if Muckman hasn't brought out a film in 2 weeks or something, right? And of course, all the other ones that were below him have gone up to the top. And
I never look at all that
stuff. You're going further down.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is there are friends that I used to do that I used to watch when I was doing the cat stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I haven't been back to their channels for ages. They're down the bottom in my subscription list.
Yeah.
I haven't been there for ages.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
Everything at the top is Ian Hill and
and same with
Man
you.
and all of this. They're all at the top. There's Down the Rabbit Hole, Robert's Game. They're all
the ones that you
top,
go to. Yeah.
right? And all the others, they're just dropping down and down and down. I haven't been to them.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Hey, McMahon, not film related, but I'm scared about Liverpool signing Florian Wirtz. If you do that, the next 3 Premier League titles to your lot. Oh.
I'll tell you what, we're probably going to have 5 minutes of comments on football now.
Yeah. Well, I won't go on about too much. It's not my team. Del, that thumbs down is just some sad bastard, like that, who has actually put a notification on so they can put a thumb down to aggravate you. Yeah.
And I've told you, it bothered me at the beginning. Don't bother me anymore. Couldn't give a shit.
Cross, that's the football thing. Isaac afterwards. And then they're smiling, and then Sai saying, never. You can have Gordon. All right. Delboy, you need to mention Gaza too. It's horrible what's happening out there.
Gaza.
It's not even a war, it's genocide. I agree. I can't really add anything more to that. I know I don't get political, but it is.
The thing, the only reason the war is mentioned because it started 2 weeks before my blog.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be there.
Yeah. It's terrible, and no more I can say to it. But
I thought he wanted me to start doing a rant on Gaza, and all that, about him drinking and that.
My rant is just because you don't like Israel or what they're doing doesn't mean that you're anti-Semitic, and that's what all these idiots are saying. It really annoys me. Nothing to do with anti-Semitism at all. Now you keep Gordon, although we have football. We'll swap you Nunes and 50 million for Isaac. Oh, they're doing deals on there now. Yeah, laughing. He's going nowhere. Now that we've qualified for the Champions League. If we didn't, we would have lost him. Yeah, that's how footballers are. Never watch mainstream news, Jamie. It's so depressing, and watching won't help anyone. Seen bits about Gaza, a great pity about all these thousands of years of civilizations. Human can't live together peacefully. Wishful thinking, though I know.
Yeah.
Bring
back this world, because they always turn around and say, I want world peace. just so that they can say, I want world peace. It'd be nice. It's nothing about seeing women in bikinis or anything. It's about just
you want world peace.
I just want them to say, I want world peace.
I
like to ride ponies and eat bangers and mash, and I like a pickled herring. And all that. You know what I mean?
What about people have been going about the Eurovision Song Contest and all that, and I'm saying the entry should be My Lovely Horse. Does anybody get that one?
Father Ted.
That's brilliant. Absolutely. I've been watching a lot of Father Ted as well. I just love Father Ted.
It is on telly an awful lot. They had on the TV the other day the one where it was kicking Father Bishop or something.
Bishop Brenham. Bishop Brenham. Kicking Brenham up the arse. The big one outside. It's super.
The question at the end. What was it? The question at the end after the next episode was, what was the name of Pope John something before he was Pope? He called him Dave. It wasn't all he had to do was just say John. John, it's the answer is John. Just take Pope out of it. That's fake, right? And he went Dave.
Dave, yeah. Brilliant.
Okay,
Bets on Muckman falling asleep before the end of the live feed. Oh, he's probably asleep already now. 2-1 predicting scores. Totally agree, Tony. I nearly had a few minutes ago, but I seem to have revived. Oh, we revived you. Probably is history proven that human race will always produce power-hungry megalomaniacs. Yeah, that's problem is. I guess it all boils down to survival. The most basic human instinct. Wars are inevitable fought over land and resources. There's talk of water wars in the future due to increasing likelihood, let's get the next bit here, of droughts due to climate change, which doesn't even exist according to President Orange. You can't be a bit President Orange. Yeah. Water wars, an interesting idea that. Film set around music, control. Oh yeah, Whiplash, that always gets mentioned. Airheads and Empire Records. And then we've got well, we all know he's an absolute D. Yeah. Favorite music documentary. Oh, Becoming Led Zeppelin. I know that's a new one, but it's brilliant. Yeah, I've only seen the first part of that. Do you know what? At least I can laugh at him, but his vice president looks evil to me. Yeah, that Vance character. Oh yeah, here it is. JD Vance. He's just a yes man. Yeah, an idiot as well. My favorite music doc is Dig. It's a brilliant and new extended Blu-ray has just released. Oh, it's about Brian Jonestown. Oh, about Jonestown Massacre and the Dandy Warriors. Oh,
Warhols.
Warhols. Dandy Warhols. Ah, yeah, Dandy Warhols. Yeah.
I tell you what, if you want to watch a film documentary about music, there's one called Maestro, which is about Ennio Morricone. All in Italian. It's 2 hours long. But I tell you what, it's gorgeous. Ennio Morricone.
Yeah.
The things he had to say about that and how he had to try and rise through all the stuff, that was going on.
Yeah.
To try and compose music, to get out of Italian music, just Italian films into the mainstream was so difficult for him.
Yeah.
And you've got, he really is the maestro. I mean, it's a gorgeous documentary.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood is even in it talking
about. Oh wow! There you are.
Saying how it was down to his music that shaped his career.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people would go and see the spaghetti westerns to listen to his music. They were humming it as they came out of the cinema.
Yeah.
With God.
Yeah, that is a. So Sai says Spinal Tap.
This is Spinal Tap.
Yeah. He's probably betting on Orange falling off his perch before the 4 years is up. Oh, Van's character. I really enjoyed the latest A Star Is Born with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. Yeah, that has gone down. I've not seen it, to be honest.
Guilty answer here. I bought the steelbook of it. Still haven't seen it.
Yeah. I like the Barbara Streisand one, though.
Yeah, I've seen the Barbara Streisand one. If it's as
good as the Barbara Streisand one, then I'll probably enjoy that one.
I've seen the Barbara Streisand one, and I'm guilty of owning the steelbook of the remake, and I ain't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Terrible, really.
I've got the scary thing about JD Vance is he'll probably run for president in 4 years, and those red hats will probably vote him in. It is scary, but there we are. Yeah, Vance could be an even more worrying proposition. Yeah. It's likely a time of political change worldwide. How uplifting all this political stuff is, isn't it? It's all depressing. So, yes, I hate the right wing. They only look out for themselves and their own blinkered beliefs. Trump is pulling funding for Medicare, God, which will affect 14 million people in the US.
Yeah, he's the sort of person that turns around 14 million. how many million are there in America? And you got 40 million. That's 1%. I can deal with that.
Yeah, that's what he's. Yeah, that's how it works. Unfortunately,
that's why this tariff thing is such a bad thing, because he's just doing it for attention. And then he changes his mind and puts it back.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's like, oh well, I charged them 20% for 2 weeks. Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
I put it back to 10 now.
Yeah,
that's how he is. He reacts. He's a reaction person. He loves the reaction, right? That's what he wants. As long as people are talking about him, then he's done his job, and he's talked about every day. So he's basically happy as shit. He was his most horrible when he was not in the limelight anymore. All he was footnote for about 2 months out of 12. Talking about his court cases.
Oh yeah, those famous court cases.
That's when he's dangerous, I think.
Yeah.
You know. So at least when you're talking about him, you know what he's doing.
What's happened to all those court cases? Have they just disappeared?
They all got dropped. They all got dropped.
Good and Bennett.
And then because he's in power for 4 years, he can actually make it so that'll never come back, because he'll change the law.
Yeah.
And then when somebody else comes in 4 years later and tries to revert it back, it will take another 4 years to get it back.
Yeah.
To the point where he's then, who cares?
Yeah.
Because by then 8 years has gone by.
Yeah. Yep.
Nobody's interested anymore.
And he might be dead then, anyway.
This is why things when things are as slow to happen as that, it doesn't really matter.
Tony says there's a sensible guy who has a YouTube channel, forget his name, but it pops up occasionally in recommendations. He's an economics expert and laid out in quite some detail how the UK deficit could be wiped. Out by taxing the super rich much more than is presently done, instead of focusing on the general population.
Yeah.
Not to rub salt in the wound, Del, but the Hitcher is getting a special screening in July too. So there
he's just Si's just now being a git because he's just wanting to upset me.
Tony says, I started watching Future World after. Wasn't keen on it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Got rid to Wob as I traded in quite a lot of books last week, trying to declutter a bit.
No, it's understandable. Yeah. I was just saying, because you like Westworld, you might want to watch Future World. That was all that was about.
There's a few Blu-rays I wanted rid of that they wouldn't accept. Wonder where they'll end up.
Ian Hill, The Ramblings. Ian Hill, The Ramblings. Ian Hill.
Oh, this is interesting. The Japanese bombed Darwin in Australia in World War II. See, that's an interesting bit of history about the Japanese and threat to Australia.
Yeah.
Not Charles, the city, Tony says. They were involved in Gallipoli too, another Mel Gibson movie. Oh, yeah, Gallipoli, yeah. I prefer The Light Horseman, 1987, to Gallipoli. It's about an Australian cavalry unit trying to capture vital wells to secure a water supply in the Middle East during World War One. Oh, it's interesting. World War One. Fascinating. And then
I thought that was Wonder Woman 1 then.
Jason, that sounds interesting. Oh dear. It's on Blu-ray, Jamie. I have the Umbrella release. Director of Light Horseman also did Quigley Down Under.
I love Quigley Down Under. Most people don't talk about Quigley Down Under.
Yeah, I've got that one. I wonder who sent me that.
Oh, Tony Piss in York, probably.
And Crocodile Dundee and Daryl. Do you know?
See, Daryl's another one that people don't mention too much.
Yeah,
mean, Daryl, that's the artificial
Yeah.
intelligence child. I mean, it
Yeah.
was a goodish film, to be quite honest.
Yeah. No, Crocodile Dundee was a massive film, but I've never seen it. No.
Oh, Daryl's great, yeah.
Might try to get that. Sounds like the sort of film I'd like. Just look, Jamie. Simon Windsor loved Quigley Down Under. Recently watched his Harlequin with Robert Powell and David Hemmings. That was quite good too. Robert Powell and David Hemmings. Wow, interesting. Always loved David Hemmings. Actually, it was Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles that he directed.
Oh, with Mike Tyson.
Yeah. He did an Ozploitation. Got an Indicator release about a stalker. Oh, that sounds interesting. A stalker. Delboy, while we're on, do you want my game choice yet?
Oh,
there you are.
I'll tell you what, it won't be very long, but not yet. I'll tell you the reason why. Martroid's just given me his, which means I've got to record it tomorrow. I tend to want people to give me the game the day before, so that I can't cheat. I can't look at YouTube and see how you play it and all of this sort of stuff. So I want it to be a surprise, and then I record it, right? So, I mean, you give me a game 3 weeks in advance, then basically all I could do is just look it up, go on there, practice for 3 weeks. Right, I'm doing a video today. It's my friend's request. Let's see how good I am. Oh, look, I'm at level 5 already. How did I get to level 5? See what I mean? I try to keep it. Oh. So anyway, Muckman, just he's gone off for a minute. I tried to make it a sort of like a surprise. So I will be coming up to you very shortly because Martroid is my fifth bloke, and there's 8 friends. So basically you're only about 2 or so away from me coming up to you and asking. So it won't be very long. Other than that, the pictures behind you, please don't be concerned about all of that. That's not actually going on at the moment. Those lines, basically that's the weather forecast. So don't worry, it's nothing about war or anything like that. It's just the weather forecast in the States at the moment. Other than that, I can't read out the text, so I'm waiting for Sod Features to come back. Ian will be back in a minute. Anybody, anything want to talk about anything? Leave your comments down there. Want to thank Ian and Muckman and Cy and Tony York for making such a pleasurable evening tonight. They've been wonderful. I think Ian's gone off to the takeaway to get himself a chippy or something. Don't know. I hope he's all right. What else? So it's getting close to the weekend. I hope everybody's going to have a great one. I've got some things to do on YouTube. Oh, here we go.
Sorry, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah. Sorry to leave you like that.
But he just disappeared all of a sudden. I was going, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't know what to talk about. I can't even read out text anything or anything. So what am I supposed to be doing?
Right.
I've answered that question for Muckman already.
Right. And then never heard of Simon Windsor before. He seems to have directed a few well-known films. I've heard the name, but I'd forgot what he directed. Tony says you can get films on Vinted. Oh, right.
Oh, there you are.
Vinted. And then Pervert Dell.
Oh, that's because of Miss World. Yeah, I can understand that. I was only joking, really. I mean, I'm not. Do you know what? I'll tell you what. I put my hands up. I think I watched 2 Miss World contests ever on television when they were in their heyday.
Yeah.
I don't think my dad watched them too much, and my mum definitely didn't. And we watched. We would watch the Generation Game and all that. I never watched these local heats for Miss Great Britain, and then it went on to Miss World. We never really watched them. I knew of them.
Yeah.
But I never really thought anything about them.
They're a bit boring. Yeah. Sai says, "My Lovely Horse is the greatest song ever written. It beats anything Lennon McCartney ever did." My lovely, hey. Eric Morley, the organizer of Miss World, always seemed rather sleazy.
No, I agree.
I think that is true. I think you've probably got a good point there. I can't really remember him that much, but I think it probably was. I like Black Books, very funny. All the seasons are available on the channel for.
I tell you what, the funniest Black Books episode I saw was where is it Bill Bailey? I think that's his name.
Yeah, Bill Bailey. Yeah.
All of a sudden, he can play the piano, and he starts playing all these classical pieces of music. He goes, and he goes, "Oh, what's going on with my hands?" Like this. You know, and then he has to teach that woman from next door or something how to play or something, and she's like, "I can't play," and all this sort of stuff. He has to be underneath the piano playing with spoons or something. Brilliant. Anyway, carry on.
Great movie discussion, Ian and Delboy. As Delboy said earlier, on Wednesday is the highlight of the week. I love talking about movies. Also, Mrs. Dell is doing well. Tell her I said hello. Thank you,
Si. It's a foregone conclusion. I will be telling my mother. Si says, and I do that. I don't lie. I actually go, Si Robson tonight. Mum said, hope you're all right. I do that.
Yeah. And then Tom says, "We've all gone to bed." Oh, dear. Yeah, time for bed. Good night, everyone.
Yeah.
Good night. I'm grateful. Best wishes to your mum, Del.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Night, guys.
Night.
The best thing in the Channel 4 app is Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. It's genuinely a great show.
I've heard of that. I've
read it. And that's the last comment. So thank you so much, everybody that's contributed, as you always do, brilliantly. Really enjoyed it. It's been quite good for me, I think, this tonight. Not had a good week, so I'm really good with this. And thank you, Del.
It's very, very hard to get through anything with painkillers. I'll tell you that. We were talking about pills earlier on. I took Ian back a little bit when I told him I take about 22 pills a day. 22 pills a day.
Yeah.
And on Sunday, I'm so tired through sleep deprivation from looking after my mum, and with the 22 tablets and a lot of them being painkillers or blood pressure, I sometimes look like I'm drunk or pissed or whatever it is. It's all due to the strength of tablets, and I try to disperse them over a period of time. And on Sundays, sometimes with the sleep deprivation, it's just impossible. But I take my breaks now, and things are a little bit better. Thanks to everybody's concern. It'll never always be like this. It will get better, and I just want to say, because I know what Ian's. He's coming and says, "What are you going to say, Dale?" I'll say, "So it's good night from me, and it's
good night from him."
Yeah. Good night.
And come on.
What?
You haven't finished. You always do your other one. Salute.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying that it's good night, but I want you to say whatever you've got to do, and then I'll say my salute.
Oh, you want me to? Okay. And all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.
I thought you were going to say something, but I was going to say salute. Bye.
Bye.